G'day.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello.
I got you.
I had my mic muted. That's a great way to start off a podcast.
Are you live yet?
It should be going live very soon. Twitch is a
Okay.
bit slower to start up live. My YouTube is live.
You see in the circle right now? PGC.
The oh, I haven't got to watch PGC at all today right now.
Liquid's playing today, and they just went out in 15th place for like the millionth time in a row. They're in last place right now with 1 point after 3 games.
They have 1 point after 3 games?
Yes.
Yikes.
Yeah, they don't give you the consolation prize point.
Yikes.
They've gotten
Oh
1
my
kill. They've gotten 0 place points 3 games.
Dude, that's so. How many games is the group stage part total?
6. They still
Oh,
can play tomorrow. They have another 6 games tomorrow. They take like the bottom 8 and they move them on to like the next stage time or something. I don't know.
Oh, so there's like
Actually,
a
understand that.
relegation if they don't make top 8 in this group.
Yes.
But they only get 6 games to make top 8 to guarantee their advancement.
Yes.
Okay.
That is it.
I think they should make it out of relegations. I'm pretty sure. They're just having a. Yikes! That is so bad.
They're pulling a.
All right. Yeah. I think I know where that was going. All right, we're gonna. I want to wait on Advo. I'm gonna tag him real quick. Give it a few. Oh, when he said I think that meant I, as in he'll tell us when he's ready. I kind of.
Nice.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, I thought he meant by I as in like I'm ready, so I just started the call. Oh well, I guess we could just start it. So yeah, I wrote down some talking points, and I think Smash, if you want to just kind of follow that, and then you'll essentially be kind of like the host, and you'll like guide the conversation. Feel free to like add in your own questions too, because you follow the scene, so I'm sure you kind of know
Yeah, sure.
what's going on and whatnot. But yeah, we could just start with just what I type.
Well, yeah, just so basically as you said, like, the first big thing is the PMCO results, and of course NA is going to be the region that you guys know the most about, and obviously have done the most because you both, you coached and you played in it, which is great, and your teams got through. But what are your thoughts about the results? I had some thoughts about some of the teams that didn't make it, but it seems like the teams that did make it were not really that surprising.
Yeah. I think the results were like, I hate how it's only 10 games, right? I feel like
Yeah.
if you want real results on like who should be top 3, I feel like a good amount is like 16 to 20 games at the least, I would say. But out of 10 games, the results top 3 anyways, like I'd say like, yeah, we all deserve the spot. There's like 4 or 5 other teams that could have made top 3 that I would also say deserves, that spot too.
Yeah, I expected Totality to make it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there was a 37
I don't know in
point gap.
what position, but I expected that they would be in one of them if going into it.
Yeah, especially
they
after
had-
their semifinals. Yeah.
Yeah, that they won semis.
Yeah, as I said, there was a 37 point gap between Omen and the unnamed. So I mean, there was a little bit of a gap there that was starting to form, but yeah, with the longer format, they could have clawed back. You never know. Maybe a team like Tribe would have performed better. I don't know. Maybe the Knights as well. They were the two teams.
Yeah, PK.
Yeah, they were the two teams that really took everyone by surprise on not qualifying or not putting up the biggest fight. Have you guys reached out to them? I know I reached out to Jagger and spoke to him a little bit about it. Are they taking it hard? Or how are they feeling about it?
I haven't reached out to them, but I know for a fact, just I follow them on Twitter. I could tell, like, I think anyone that knows they should perform way better than they did would feel pretty bad. But yeah.
It is pretty cutthroat only having the 3 spots, but at least there is it seems like there's a vibrant scene within North America. And there's plenty of opportunities to play at tournaments. We've got the DreamHack Atlanta one coming up as well. But staying on topic for the PMCO, have you guys managed to catch the other regions as you're going into the prelims and well the main tournament itself with Bayo? But are you guys worried about any of the teams coming through the prelims? Have you been surprised by any of the other regions?
I've followed. I watched
Southeast Asia.
Yeah, I watched one day of Southeast Asia. I watched the first day, and apparently the day to watch was day 2 because RAQ apparently made a insane comeback and they took first place. But Bayo's team, you guys are going straight to finals, right? Yeah. Yeah. So my team has to worry about. I believe BTR didn't make it. Bigatron, right? With Luxie and Zuxi. Yeah, they're probably one of the teams I worry the most about because they play very aggressive, and I feel like in a lesser tiered lobby, which would essentially be the prelims, they're gonna just like run the show pretty much. Yeah, I've only played on the global stage. Well, I've played on the global stage twice. I went to prelims last split, but I was playing with a different team. So, based off of my experience there, I feel like we have a shot at making top 3, but for prelims, like all the teams always get better, like each split, and it's gonna be completely different from last split. I feel like so. I don't know.
Okay. Just on the prelim tournament, because there is a lot of obviously the second best teams I'd say coming through the regions, coming through. Well, last split, the spring split, we saw the teams that performed well in the prelims perform well in the main event itself. So we had teams like Team Queso outperform Brazilian Killers, and situations like that kept occurring. Do you think there is a benefit to playing the prelims at all, or do you think it is just more work?
Oh, I mean, if we can make the what's up, Advo? Advo popped in. Can you? Oh, Advo's mic is muted. Okay. I think if we make it out of prelim stage, there's definitely a huge benefit to prelims, right? Because you get to play on the phones, like, and you get
That's
to.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's like if you can play prelims, but then actually make it out, there's an advantage to it. But obviously, if you're playing prelims, it's so much of a it's very difficult to get the top placements there. So I mean, I'm very glad I'm just going on into the finals, but I think if you got like the head start, just kind of like feeling a big part of it is just like feeling out the lobby and playing. Like the first couple of games are going to set the pace for most of the rest of the tournament and how you need to play. Like if you show up and you just get like slapped immediately, like you're going to be like momentum's going to be running low for the rest of the day. So it's important that like you can get in as many like games as possible so you can like get an understanding of how aggressive you can be, how the other teams are going to be playing, whether it's going to be super passive lobby or like super aggressive, stuff like that. So like if you are able to play in the prelims and get that feel for it ahead of time and then make it into the finals, I think you'll have a huge advantage.
What's up, everybody?
G'day, mate. How you going?
Is this live already?
Yeah. We're just touching on the NA. Well, we're just touching on the PMCO basically. And
Yeah.
We'll trail back. How do you think the NA played out? The NA region played out, Advo? As a coach, you kind of have that not the backseat mentality, but the ability to watch it all unfold, and you're less focused on your team entirely and able to assess other teams and how they went. How did you think the top performers went for the PMCO? Obviously, Cloud9, Omen, and Tempo themselves having that 37-point gap. Do you think that was a deserved 37-point gap between third and fourth place, or do you think it was a bit tighter than that?
I think we personally, as Tempo, had a rough start at first, and then second day we started with the win on Sanok, and then from there on we basically got many kills combined with consistent placement every game, which kind of moved us up the leaderboard consistently. Cloud9, they've been really consistent from the start. So from first to last game, that was really impressive. And then Omen, we didn't notice them too much, or at least I didn't, but they've got a shit ton of wins, and I think that kind of helped them get up to third. So yeah, I think it was deserved 4 teams, but yeah, we definitely had a rough start at first.
Yeah, you guys saw the chart that said like Omen was like the least consistent team, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys saw that on Twitter, but still had the most wins.
Yeah.
The lowest lows, but the highest highs.
Yeah,
I mean, the point system is just wins and kills. So if you get wins, you move up the leaderboard. And
So
usually
out of 10 games, Omen had 3 15th place and 3 chicken dinners, and that kind of just evened everything
I think
out.
there was a 16 in there too. Right?
GG.
I believe.
That was the second event.
I think
there was a
I
16th.
think there was a 16th. I know for a fact we got 2 15ths on Myanmar. Like our Myanmar we played so horribly on Myanmar. We went out 15th or 14th somewhere, and then I don't even recall the 16th game or the 16th place game. I think I just blocked that from my memory. But yeah, that inconsistency. I actually wasn't too surprised seeing that, but it also just shows we, in my opinion, right? Of course, I want to see the brighter side of things. We could have done way better than we did, given the 2 15th and a 16th place game we got. But I'm just glad we made it top 3. I'll be honest, when we made it top 3, I was not expecting us to make top 3. Before going into the finals, like the last 10 games, I was just ready to play the best we can. I didn't think we would make top 3, especially with our roster being like, we've never had a solid established roster, right? Like our roster's probably one of the newest out of all the teams, with Carnage coming on board. And then we had a sub out, King A, who is one of our starters for our sub, like on the last day of the semifinal stage. Like we had so many moving pieces going into the finals that I am thoroughly surprised we made top 3. But I'm glad we made top 3 by like a 37-point margin too, though. So it's not like we just barely edged it in.
I mean, I think SSG, you and PK, they all built their roster like 2 weeks before PMCO started. So
Yeah.
I mean, PK, you really noticed the adjustment times they had to make, but it was kind of weird, I'd say, because in scrims, they had placed very consistently, I'd say. So then seeing them drop was a bit odd, but, things happen. It's finals.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff happens in the finals.
Yeah, that's competition for you, I guess. I mean, they had flashes of brilliance, I guess. They had a 3rd place with 14 kills, and that's when I think that was the first game of day 2, and I thought they were going to turn it around from there, but unfortunately they couldn't string a few of those games together. They had that poor day 1 that kind of just sealed the deal for them.
Yeah, sometimes in PUBG you just don't get cars. Like I remember on Nova in the last PMCO, there was a Miramar game where we landed in El Pozo, and there's a million car spawns in El Pozo, and there was no cars on any of the car spawns. There's one that has 2 car spawns at this road. They're like right next to each other, and there were 2 trikes, and that's all we had. And it was like, what are we supposed to do with 2 trikes on Miramar in the PMCO finals? And it just went awfully. We got like 15th place that game.
Yeah,
that was like one of our worst matches.
The thing with getting no cars when you play Sender is that, especially with PK, they try to rotate super early. I think all of them just looted one Gatga compound.
Yeah.
And then they started rotating. So when you don't get any cars and you're used to playing super center, and all of a sudden you have to edge in, like at least the first 2 zones, I think that really throws you off, and you have to adjust a lot.
Oh, actually, yeah, I have something to touch on that. I noticed that later on during the PMCO stage, the first circle, the timer, wasn't fast. Like,
there was one game on Erangel. It was the first Erangel game of day 2. I remember this. They screwed up the timer. They didn't put the circle settings on. I was wondering if anyone else would notice it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
But so we landed South George. We had 4.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they didn't do the circle settings for this game.
Holy shit.
And I was like, I'm not going to mention it to anybody because I don't want it to be restarted because we finally got a good plane path.
Right.
The one time we have the land
But
top Jordan.
I think like for all of the last 10 games in the finals, it seemed like it wasn't super fast. I might be wrong, but
I paid attention to the circles only changed on Miramar and Erangel. So the Miramar game had already been played, I think, and then the last Erangel game did have the circle settings. I think it was just one that didn't have it.
It was just one? Okay. I was under the wrong assumption then, because I always felt like during the group stage, the first circle closes in like within a minute or something, and then during the finals, I felt like we had way more time to loot, because we loot right next to you guys. We're your neighbors over at Crates, pretty much.
Yeah, bro, Georgia Goal was fucking stacked, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Like,
yeah, but what were we talking... Sorry, we were talking about... Oh yeah, other teams' circle settings and other teams' performances. Yeah, I think that did hurt PK, definitely. Just the inconsistency of the car spawns, and then...
There's no one strategy that fits all the maps, too. Like, you can't just say, hey, we're playing center, and, like, we're a center, like Tempo, you guys just always go center no matter what.
Yeah, I kind of have to disagree on that
one. It's difficult to make one strategy fit all the maps. Because like Sandhawk plays so differently than the other maps.
Yeah, obviously.
And then like we have, they all play differently. Like Miramar's a lot slower, obviously. So and a lot more compounds are left open in the center on Miramar because people are slow and they're rotating late and they're too scared to go center.
First two circles on Miramar, but like first two circles on Miramar, we're usually just alone in center.
Yeah,
with nobody.
We show
around
up late and then still take center.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Miramar, you can take center pretty much third circle or something like that. Just
but then there's like
smart.
Vikendi that you can be rewarded by taking edge and then just going to the center later because you can actually like rotate on that map with the fact that there's like actual cars that work and stuff. Unlike Erangel and Miramar. Like our strategy differs a lot over all the different maps.
I just know against Tempo, you don't want to take center in buildings because they will smash it. They will.
Or like that one Erangel game, we were set up for Tempo to come crash us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been playing center for like forever now, so that's what we know, that's what we're used to, and I think that's what we're best at.
Yeah, I love when I'm around you guys in game because I can just like read you like a book because you do the same thing no matter what the situation is every time.
Yeah, but
like we're like, oh, Tempo's going to leave this compound, and then we go take the compound behind them and then shoot them in the back and then take their spot that they just moved to. Did that the other day. I was
calling you guys out right now.
I was legit. I'm like, oh, hey, Tempo's going to move out of this compound. They're going to go to the center right here, and then we took your compound and then pushed them. Like, I don't know. I like to never show the same strategies. I always have them changing stuff and adapting and innovating.
That's going to be an interesting thing to play out at PMCO, the finals, because you guys haven't had all this experience. Because I mean, I assume that you guys will be scrimming each other. It'll be like the same teams in the same lobby. I saw at ESL there was a lot of the teams were the same. Of course, there was a few other teams that were in there that weren't in the PMCO. But you guys kind of get to know each other so well by playing each other so much, and now you're going to be thrown into an environment where everyone plays so differently. You wouldn't have had time to compare. So,
that's the biggest thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, do you think that you're confident in your abilities to adjust day by day, or is there a certain worrisome factor there?
I mean, we're definitely comfortable, but what worries me a bit is playing center against Asian teams, but that's like the only thing.
Yeah, it was like I said before, you got to feel out the lobby. I mean, you can try to play center like. How is prelim still 3 days, just like the finals, 16 games or something?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah.
13. Yeah. So like, I mean, there's enough time. Like day one, I think is 4 to like get into the lobby and drop like your preferred drop spot and see if there's people there, and then see like how the rotations feel. Like I talked about, just like how aggressive the lobby is and stuff like that. Whether you can actually go center or not, and then still have like the next 2 days to lock down a solid strategy.
Okay. So I mean, when you guys talk me through Malaysia itself, because I've been to big live events for other games, but never for PUBG Mobile or PUBG PC. So when you guys get there, do you guys look for scrims straight away on your own phones? Like, what's the setup? Do you guys want to get playing straight away, or do you want that time to adjust and just rest and get used to the time zone and such?
I'd say the biggest thing is just getting the phone. Like last time when I went to stand in for Omen, which is now Tribe, the first thing we were trying to do is talk to all the staff to see how early we could get the phones. That's the one big thing with mobile gaming that's different from PC, is that you don't know what the phone's gonna be like unless if you buy it in advance, right? But yeah, getting the phones, and then as far as for me, my personal experience with like adjusting to time zone and whatnot, I know I personally didn't have that much of an issue or feel affected by it. And then being in a new country and everything, you kind of want to watch out for the food you eat. You don't want to ingest foods that are too different from what you're used to, and you might get like sick or you might feel thrown off. But I'd say the biggest priority is just how early can you get on the phone to start playing on it.
I think avoiding jet lag, phone, and then what you said, food. So making sure the environment you find yourself in is kind of similar to what you're used to at home. I think that's like the most important thing.
Yeah, certainly. So that's such a strange thing. The fact that I guess PC players have this advantage where they can take their peripherals everywhere, so that they're kind of comfortable on every setup, right? It's only really the monitor that changes. But then you have this whole argument of different sponsors providing different phones for each event. How much does that throw you off from your phone at home? Because obviously you guys would have a preferred phone that you want to use pretty much all the time, whether it be an iPhone, whether it be an Android, Samsung. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So going to an event and having to use like an LG or a brand that you're not really familiar with in Western society. So does that throw you off a big amount, or do you think that's where the advantage lies with the Asian teams, that the fact that they have access to these phones in their market usually?
For me, it's definitely a little bit different. Adjusting to a new phone, it's not too big of a difference, but I know for a lot of competitive players, if one small little thing is off, like their minds would tend to focus on it and make it like a bigger, like more mental issue than an actual like issue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it depends on the person, really. Some people, like personally for me, I switched to gyroscope, right? I can't do like touchscreen where I touch the screen to control my recoil, because it's just so different from phone to phone. But I think Bayo's never switched over to gyro, and he played on the Note 9 for
A few months.
yeah. And it's just, to me, it's drastically different.
iPhone is insanely better.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
I
It's
like
insanely smooth.
was like, oh, I'm gonna hold out a little bit, just so like I didn't have to learn something. But I should have got that. Like, I should have upgraded my phone immediately. It's like the iPhone XS that I play on now is just like, I don't know. I feel like twice as good as when I was playing on the Note 9.
Yeah.
I think basically any NA pros using an iPhone X or better. The only team I can think of is TT. They're using iPhone 8 Plus, but that's like
Yeah, I heard the 8 Plus is
Everybody
also
else.
very good.
A plus is solid. I was on the A plus before. It's a solid phone. It's like if you're
What are
looking
you
at
on now, Zoo?
I'm on the XS Max.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't played on the 8 Plus in a long time, but I just remember when I was on the 8 Plus, I never had any issues with it. I never felt like, I need a better phone. So the 8 Plus is probably the cheapest, best phone option.
Yeah.
For the PMCO finals, Carnage convinced me to go get an iPhone 11, and I had the money, so I went and bought one, but I returned it right after we finished because I don't have that much money, right? But the iPhone 11, there is one solid advantage to the 11, and it's the screen doesn't dim. The iPhone screen dimming, it doesn't really throw me off ever, but it is pretty nice to play on the 11 and never have it dim.
Have you not found the solution to make it not dim yet? Does Carnage not share this with you? You noob.
You just like lower the brightness a little bit, right? So
No. Guided access.
it still dims on guided access. I play with guided
Mine
access.
never does. I never. I can't.
Mine
remember
never
the
does
last time
neither.
I dimmed.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I have guided access on, and it still dims.
Okay.
But it doesn't throw me off too much. So it's just like, oh great, my phone dimmed, and then that's about it.
I found like the new, or what is it when you playing on like the what is it, Tennis Max or the 11? It has like, it doesn't have a home button, right? So like it has like that little bar that you swipe at the bottom, and then guided access gets rid of that. Because I used to always like, when I try to like switch weapons or something, I like couldn't press it because it's like the home button like equivalent is like on the bottom. And
There's that little
and it wouldn't
bar.
switch.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks I was playing on iPhone X, I didn't have guided access on, so I always mistake that for my health bar. Like,
yeah, it actually like covers.
it actually covers the health bar. So I was like,
So
why the fuck am I full health?
And then the notch like covered something for a while, and then I had to like learn to start playing like the opposite, holding it the opposite way.
Sounds like the iPhone overall is the pick though. So
Yeah.
Nothing's perfect. That's the problem.
yeah, well that's true. Hopefully we get to a point where there is a perfect phone. I mean, I've seen gaming phones marketed, but just not sold on the whole gaming phone thing.
Oh, the Vivo I played on last split for Berlin. It was a solid phone actually. Though
Uneven has it now. The one that we're going to be playing on, and he really likes it. Actually, he thinks it's like actually like good.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
it's a solid. The iPhone is still a little bit better, but it's honestly a phone that I'm just glad that we're playing on a phone that's like not bad, because playing on a bad phone throws so much off.
The Note 9, I can confirm, was bad after playing on something else.
Yeah, the Note 9 has the most issues out of all the phones that we've played on competitively.
Well, that's unfortunate. But, we need to get to a point where everything's just standardized, really. So there's just the gaming phone.
It's hard
I
because
think they should, for 2020, if there's the World League and it's somewhat similar to NPL, they should just allow everybody to bring their phones and hand them in, and then they stay at the venue for like the entire league, and they check it before every game day, making sure
I'd be
there's
down for
no
that. That sounds awesome.
cheats or hacks there, because that's what PC does with their peripherals. So I think that would be like the most ideal situation. Everybody has like one phone for gaming, one phone for normal, and it stays at the venue. But we'd have to get an NPL sort of system for that for 2020.
No iPads though. Bayo. Don't. Bayo brings in his iPad.
We were just talking about that today.
Did you play ESL on iPad or?
No, I haven't played on it
Okay.
For PUBG in a long time.
Yeah.
I can't.
Fill me in with this iPad situation, because there was a team
Oh god.
in another region caught using iPads that were disqualified.
iPhones are good, but
iPads
is
are godlike.
Yeah, it is like.
Is it just the biggest screen?
A shitty laptop. There's a large combination of things that make it incredibly good compared to
playing
phones. Like
the
bigger
equivalent.
screen. You don't have to gyro. You can just like pull down on your finger, and you're never gonna pull off the bottom of the screen. You can just go all the way down until you run out of ammo in your clip and stuff. Like,
and you see things so much more clearly. And the recoil, to me, I played on it for 1 day, and with the red dot, you could use it like if it was like a 4X, Like you could see
Yeah.
things so clearly on the iPad. Like it's gotten to the point where when I see like insane clips on Twitter of other players, but they're on an iPad, I just don't even really watch it, even though they're really good, right? But it's just like iPad is like so different, and there are
I think
people.
the skill gap is just higher on iPad.
Yeah,
Like you can,
it's way higher. It is. You could. I know a lot of Asian players play like Six Finger Claw, where their movement is
What?
basically
yeah,
it's
PC
equivalent.
like.
Yeah, it's PC like or better. They're literally they have full control over everything they do on the iPad.
The
Yeah.
Japan PMCO allowed iPads, by the way, if you didn't know.
Fall split or
Oh,
spring
boy.
split?
Both splits.
GG.
Yeah, they didn't have like
Oh,
a phone
they'll get
sponsor or something. Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
it's a disadvantage for them, but like it was.
Imagine they turn up in
It's just something
Malaysia
curious
with
you know,
their
it's
iPads.
Just
can't
touching
use it while
on
they
it.
play.
So this is something that when I entered PUBG Mobile, I was staggered by. Is I wouldn't say the Asian dominance of the teams themselves, but the Asian dominance of the community. Just how incredibly large communities such as Southeast Asia,
Mhm.
such as India, China, even Japan, Korea have themselves communities as well. Were you guys surprised by that too, coming into esports and PUBG Mobile, or have you guys accepted that there are just like millions upon millions of players in these regions ready to go?
I did not understand the craze of like how many Indian fans there are until PUBG Mobile. It's like
Mhm.
so big there that like I don't know.
I think
I had not
Yeah, it's
experienced that yet.
I think it's just a mentality difference. Like in India, I think everybody has a phone.
Mhm.
Barely anybody has a PC. NA, I think almost every household has some sort of a PC, so more people have access to PC gaming,
Yeah.
and then it just makes PUBG Mobile so much bigger in India. Whereas in NA, it's like it always be sort of like the little brother of PC PUBG. So it's always the mentality is just mobile.
In NA, it's like, oh, you play mobile, and then
Yeah,
in
exactly.
like Asia, it's like they don't have anything except mobile.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So like,
exactly.
it's not like that. There's not like you're not like shunned for being a PUBG Mobile player.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I heard the infrastructure of like India and stuff like their infrastructure is really developed for just mobile devices in general because they use their phones as like their PC, and so like their network and everything there is just the stuff they do on their phone. Like for example, in China, um, like almost actually everywhere I went in China about a year ago, you pay from WeChat, which is an app on your phone. Like, and I toured like China with my girlfriend last year, and we went all the way up to like Mongolia, right? And when we got up to Mongolia, there were still stores up there that looked like it was like in the middle of nowhere, like rural places. And you walk in, and when you go pay, they ask, you pay with WeChat through a phone, even though it looks like their technology there isn't as developed because it's not like a city, but everyone still uses a phone even in those places. So the phone is just so dominant in these overseas regions, so that now that you have a mobile game that's played on the phone, it becomes so much more widely popular.
Yeah.
The crazy thing for me was when we'd do the show. Obviously, we'd get makeup and hair done and such like that. And then between maps, we'd go back to the green room that we had, and there would be the staff, the makeup ladies themselves, playing PUBG Mobile on their phones. It was just crazy because you never really see that in, say, Australian esports, where I've covered other stuff, and it's just like how big it is, especially going to like the VSPN head offices in Shanghai itself, and you see how incredible the infrastructure is for esports in that region. It's crazy. So,
Yeah.
it was a real wake up call, and I've enjoyed every moment of covering and following mobile esports so far because it really is the future. You look at it compared to PC, and you're just like, the amount of players that can access this is pretty much
Yeah.
everybody on the planet.
It's on another level. Yeah, branching off into that, I want to touch on the whole NA versus the rest of the world type of thing, right? Like, why is Asia so much better, et cetera, et cetera. I think it starts with the whole, just how popular mobile devices are in general, and just, there's so much more support for it. Like,
They just have a bigger player pool to choose the rosters from.
yeah, more talent
Like, to
pool.
start off with. Yeah.
More people that watch, which means more money that gets put in it. More tournaments to be played. Like, China players are already playing like one big tournament, like more than one tournament every month, right? And their lands too. Like, some of the top teams for PUBG Mobile from China aren't even competing for the PMCO this split because they have another tourney that's even bigger that they're playing in instead. So it's like they just get to play so much more. Same with the semifinals stage. Southeast Asia semifinals was a LAN, and the teams played over, like, I don't know how many games, like
24 days times 6.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like 104 games.
That's
We're just disadvantaged from the get-go.
yeah, we truly are. So
that's like all very, it's a very valid point, and it's something that, well, because I'm basically a boomer, it's the same thing that happened in PC though, is that these countries that ran a net cafe culture, such as China, Korea, they started dominating esports because they had really, the access was there. You could go home or come back from school, go to the net cafe, play games all day. Whereas in Western culture, we didn't have that, so you had to have a PC at home. So you were inherently just playing less, because if you didn't have the financial backup to play the PC at home, eventually it catches up. I mean, you see now in PC esports such as Counter-Strike, Overwatch, even StarCraft now is becoming more, well, I should say less Korean dominated. I think that there is, it's just a matter of time before the West catches up, I guess. It is just all about the exposure and the availability of the playing. So it's not all doom and gloom, but it just takes a little bit longer for the West to catch up and get there.
yeah.
I think
the main reason we've been like struggling is like experience. Just like they have, where you touched on, they have all these lands and stuff, and everything we do is online. And ESL, which is like our only has been our like consistent like LAN tournament this year, is like not very serious, and like the structure it's set up is just like stupid and doesn't really give you competitive experience. It's fun to go compete, but like you're playing Sandhawk with 10 teams, and that's the tournament.
You play like
cool.
3 or 5
and
games.
it's 5 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw it's 5 games of Sandhawk, and I was thinking, that's not the most
RNG
competitive way to have it go.
Yeah, the EU ESL PUBG Mobile, they also had 10 teams, I think, but they got to play Erangel.
Yeah, but that's just worse, I think. I'd rather play 10-team Sanok than 10-team Erangel.
Nah, that's true. Yeah,
That's just
I
an
don't
empty
mind
map you're playing on. Yeah. I mean, I think it should either be 16 teams and then all maps are just Erangel and Miramar, or 10-team Sanok. I don't mind 10-team Sanok, but it should be just more games.
I'd rather have 16 teams. Like, I think that's
obviously I'd rather have that too, but
that's the most important one. Get 16 teams in. China, meanwhile, are playing 25-team lobbies, like 100-player lobbies. It's insane whatever they're doing. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I have no expectations for that tournament when we go there.
yeah, same.
Like,
It's gonna
Smash. I think all 3 of us were invited, and we don't know how many are going from North America yet. But like we were invited to a Chinese tournament where there's going to be 25 teams, so 100 people in the lobby. And SSG went last time, and I think they got like 20th or 21st place. And
isn't it going to be 16 teams this time?
Almost last. I don't know if it's not 25. We might have.
I think it's 16 teams and similar spots given away to the regions, as in PMCO Global Finals. So it's basically going to be another Globals, but just in China. I think. I'm not too sure.
I'd be down for that. Not 20 Chinese teams like it was the other
Yeah.
time.
I haven't
We
heard
get
anything
our
about that.
asses whooped.
That sounds fantastic, though.
Yeah, that's at the end of December. It's like the 28th through
Oh my
28th
god.
and 29th or something. So yeah, we're
So
leaving like
29th.
yeah, we're leaving
It'll
like
just be a
Christmas
nice
Day or
way
something.
to end 2019.
Yeah.
But
Watching
if it's 20, if it's against
C9 get
20
bodied.
Asian teams, yeah, if it's against 20 Asian teams, I have zero expectations.
Yeah, just to fill you in, since you didn't get to watch those games, Smash. Yeah, it's a 25 team lobby, and RRQ, which was like one of the
They're a
most
dominant team.
they placed 24th or something.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they
it was like land, lose a couple members, attempt to snake and die. I was like,
Yeah, that
what
sounds.
it was.
RRQ got
Sounds like
24th
someone's
place. And the crazy thing is the first place team was XQF, and they had like more than double the second place team's points.
I
And
think it was triple.
it was
actually.
triple. Yeah, it was like triple or something. And so that means
And XQF had to go through prelims for spring
They
split.
just stomped the entire lobby.
yeah,
They
25
don't
team
really suck.
lobby, and they tripled the second place. Triple. That's in a 25 team
Insane.
lobby. Like, how do you can't even play consistently in a 25 team lobby if you ask me. But they did that
Which
and
ones would you
dominated.
Would
I
you
mean,
just play
it's- I
public
think-
matchmaking to prepare for that? Obviously, there's no point scrimming because you just go and play pubs
Nah.
like all day.
It's no,
Not
you can throw
with
25
bot
teams
lobbies.
in North America in a
Yeah,
lobby, and that
Oh, okay.
it's pretty close. I mean, okay, so like, it's close in the sense that you don't know what anyone else is doing, like because
Exactly.
you'll drive anywhere and there's people in shacks doing stupid stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
it'll be
who gets
similar.
blessed with circle, who doesn't have to move, and who can
Yeah.
shoot instead of having to move.
SSG
That's
might have been able to like do good a game if they got a circle on their compound or something. Maybe they could hold it down. But if
Exactly.
they have to rotate in a zone, no, there's no.
They
way.
would have needed C9 circle up in finals.
C9
Actually,
circle.
C9.
But then
Circle.
they still probably wouldn't even win even if they got it, because like XQF would just, or somebody would just crash. And like the worst thing is when someone crashes your compound late game and then you don't actually fight them and they just like exist in the building right next to you
Yeah.
and you can't do anything about it. So like suddenly you can't even defend your compound because like you're sharing it with this other team and you have to worry about them. You're getting like mated and stuff, and it just gives all the other teams like opportunity to come do the same thing or something.
It's just
I mean-
mutually assured destruction at that point.
Yes.
Oh, we saw so much of that in the PMCO. With
Oh my god.
64
That's the
teams.
worst thing that the NA's so bad about, is just killing each other in terrible positions. Like I envy like watching like Southeast Asia PMCO. This still happens there, but a little bit less. Like the teams that are doing good, they don't care to like take useless fights. Like when they need to rotate and they can go take a good spot, they like leave and do it
Yeah.
immediately.
Hmm.
I think
The amount of
that's
times we
just
saw fights in Pachinki that would break out and they would go on for 10-15 minutes, and then the blue was on their backs because just
Yeah.
neither team refused to run away. It's just
Yeah.
that reminds me
away.
of when PK contested as a Picado. That was just.
PK.
There
gave
was
that
like
up.
a month.
I
straight
still don't
Smash,
get why they did
PK
that.
versus Tempo Picado for like a month straight in every scrim and tournament that went on.
I don't
Really?
get why they did it. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
it was
that's what you
our
want to
separate
see.
spot, and then all of a sudden,
No one team ever even won consistently. Like
Yeah.
it did go both ways, and then eventually PK
Yeah.
just left because
Cowards.
Tempo is the king of
Actually
being
cowards.
stubborn for their drop spot.
It's a skill to be had.
War of attrition. But I just watched two teams in the PUBG Global Championship that's going on right now, the PC Worlds. I watched a Korean team and Genesis and NA team drop Pachinki, and then it was a military circle. And both teams just like left, didn't even fight each other. They just looted up,
yeah,
grabbed
Yeah,
the
yeah,
closest
yeah.
car, and just left. They don't even care to fight. So like other regions are like that. NA, they would not do that. They're like, oh, let's kill the other team when they try to leave because they got to go to the military
Bro,
base. Let's pick
when did
someone
you
off.
die in GPL that you were able to watch that, bro? Wasn't that like
I'm pretty sure Bayo just
Going
watched
on.
it while he was playing.
I had it up.
GG.
But I did. That was after we died. I think it had to be after it was like completely over. Like that was like when this.
Bayo just died, muted himself? GG. GG.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
I
some
think
things to be
Asia
taken
being
from what
dominant, I think it's just a combination of a few factors. Like, first of all, that the player pool they can choose from is just a lot bigger.
Mhm.
And then I think when they choose a player, like if they build a roster, they set different priorities. NA it's just gun skill, gun skill, gun skill. And then Asia is more like how much game knowledge they have, how smart they are, both in game and outside of the game. If they like a chill personality. So I think their rosters are more sustainable and last longer, and are more focused on thinking than actually shooting.
Our biggest problem that has plagued us in competing, like in globals and stuff, is the like our players are, like you just said, is heavily biased towards people who are good at gunning, and so like if everybody has like two like player stats where like somebody's really smart or somebody's really good at gunning, obviously the best is like the people that have both. And in North America, that just like doesn't exist. Like there's so few players that
I think
can do both. That
it's basically just the IGLs that can frag other people, and then there's some very few players.
Yeah, the players that do have both or are very close to getting both are not on the same teams. Is also the problem.
Exactly. Yeah. If you'd make a team of those players, that would be a GG.
Yeah.
In theory. Who knows though?
But there really hasn't been a team that's done that since Gangsters.
Egos in North America as well.
It's like had the good at the top, like the good players for that time, and then also like were
I think NA is improving though, like overall. I feel
like
NA,
definitely,
yeah, our strategy's gotten a lot more in depth, like in both from personal experience.
Yeah, like last split, Space Station got first by a good margin, and their internet went out for one game apparently. So it's like that just goes to show how much other teams had to catch up. But this split, I would say it was pretty neck and neck the whole way through.
I wouldn't say that about SSG. Thinking back to like that split, like I've done a lot in like the games leading up to that. Nobody actually expected SSG to get first. I don't think it was a surprise in most people's eyes, right? Like I don't know.
Can we please not talk about Spring Split? That shit was.
Tempo. Tempo didn't even
around though, right? Did you come
I
after that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
He was there.
Yeah, to fill you in, Smash, Tempo didn't even make top 16 last split.
Having a look now, yeah. Some names missing from this sheet.
I'm not going to take responsibility. I wasn't with the team back then.
We know who it was. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And they're not with them anymore.
Oh, right.
Who was expected to win last time? It was like Misfits, Nova, and I forget who was the other.
Didn't Misfits actually have a camera team flown out to them?
Yeah. But SSG was like top 5 for sure, but I don't think people expected them to like.
It's a shame they took down the Spring Split website.
Necessarily, I think it was expected that like SSG would qualify, but like they dominated the lobby, and I think it had to do with a lot of things. Just like
I'll put it in the group chat. It's on Liquipedia. The Spring Split stats.
Okay.
Yeah, but not the. For example.
Not the damage.
There's no. Yeah, it's not the player stats. I don't get why they had to take that down. That was so beautiful.
The stats in PUBG are just phenomenal. We have a guy in Australia who does the PC stats, and some of the stuff he does is freaky. His, like the apples thrown in the pre-game lobby and stuff like that.
Apples.
It's because they have the API. They want to track how many footsteps you take. Like,
yeah, he tracks everything. He's a genius.
These standings must be wrong. I don't see tempo.
Like us personally at Nova, we were not like as a team like prepared for the like how different PMCO is gonna play. Like it was unlike any tournament that like we had played, because it's not all, there are the best teams in the region, so like it's more like you have to like it always plays like a little bit more passive than like ESL would. Everybody's being more careful. There's so much on the line, but there's also like in PMCO is another wild card. If they're like the bottom 5 teams in the finals are like should not be there, and they're so like
because they're
just complete wild cards. They're like teams you've heard of, but like wouldn't expect to be in like the regional finals, and then they're there
I
and
was
they're
so
just like
scared of
doing
PK
things
in
that
the
you don't
end.
know about, and like
I was really scared of PK in the end because they had nothing to lose, and we always
that's the
had
worst
that
thing about the other
rivalry.
day, too.
So I was kind of scared that they're just gonna full send us at one point.
Yeah, I was surprised that Tribe didn't do that because they always
exactly.
do. But I think
PK's last
the
game.
sportsmanship was very good.
Yeah, I think that was good actually. We didn't see any shenanigans towards the end. Everyone kind of played the way they'd been playing throughout the tournament. Nobody changed up too much. PK got very aggressive in that last game. I remember they killed. I think they killed the unnamed
They
really
killed
early
Method.
on.
They killed Method
And
and
Method,
Unnamed
yeah.
for us because
Yeah.
they were right behind us pretty much for third place.
Yeah, the unnamed came third, and Method ended up dropping a bit further back after getting knocked out. They came fifth. Yeah,
I remember
that's
that
crazy.
one. I think it was semi-finals. The one Millie game where Unnamed just stayed on the Millie side of things, and then it just shifted.
I was
Oh,
so
yeah.
lucky, dude.
Yeah,
Oh, they got
and
a bunch of
every-
kills, right? They had a lot of kills.
They were the only
everybody
team
was
in the
talking
circle
about
with
them being
vehicles.
godlike, but to be honest, like, of course they played it well, but if you wouldn't have gotten kills at that point or win the game with that circle, I mean, that would have been
Whichever
kind of
team
weird.
was in their position would have got that same amount of kills.
Exactly.
They were the only team that was
Exactly.
on the hills where the circle was ending with vehicles where they could move around. Everyone else had to cross like the bridge, obviously.
Yeah, you
And
guys.
the only
took
reason they
bridge
didn't
over.
cross
I'm not
is
trying
because there
to
was
take away
there was a
anything
team
from
on the
them,
other
but-
side of the bridge. That was the only reason they didn't cross. And then they just got zone and they're like, okay, it might come back, and then they just stayed there. And it did come back, and they were the
Yeah.
only team on the island. And there was one bridge in play. The other one was like out of play zone, but still had a million teams trying to cross it. And it was like we rotated from like the Pachinki Hill all the way straight across the bridge at the same time as two other teams, and there's a bridge camp, and it was just like the biggest mess ever. And somehow we survived and got like second or third that game.
We got second. We swam
We got
across. You guys
Was
got
that-
third. Yeah.
Was that the game Raven got like an absurd
Yes.
amount of kills?
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like
That
that.
was
one.
the
I think
clown
that was
fiesta.
the reason PK actually noticed him and
Yes,
started
that game
scouting
alone
him-
made Raven.
scouting him more. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I think he got good stats again in regionals, and I think now that PK, I think they picked him up now.
Yeah.
Now that they have him, it's sort of a GG for Unnamed. Like that was like their star
The thing
player,
is, Unnamed
and
is
now-
actually still doing well with whoever filled in.
Yeah, I don't know who their
Yeah.
in-game leader was, but I think it's obviously
Me
wasn't
neither.
Raven.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm still kind of confused that they managed to hold Novo for so long and that no NA team wants to take it.
Well,
That's just
when I joined Misfits, right? So like Nova had just disbanded, which was the Novo team, and then Misfits was the military-based team. So like we had a pick of wherever we wanted to go. It was like, do I want to go take Novo? Because for some reason, I thought PK like with Sam and Kato at the time, they're like, oh, they're obviously going to go Novo, and then they stuck to the Gatka trash for a reason, for some reason. I don't know why. It's so bad. I will never drop that.
That guy
But,
got lit spit, dude.
It didn't make sense. I don't know why they didn't.
It's-
I don't
so
like
funny.
that either.
Nova was for the taking, and we did test going there like as Misfits, and like the rest of like Perk, Uneven, and Pyro just like hated it for some reason. I thought it was so good, and I'm like, all right, I'll come Millie with you guys. And then they had trouble in the last ESL season. I wasn't playing, but they had trouble with the bridges, and I was like, you know what, I'm pulling us out of military base as like the island in general because we just don't want to deal with that. Because like it's the one part of the map that like some team that's like much worse than you can actually ruin your game just off of like a bridge camp. Like you can have some random people from
bridge camped
public
you a bunch of
matchmaking
times.
you can have literally some people from public matchmaking on the bridge, and then you can't cross it. And it doesn't matter how good you are or how good they are. It's just like you're just completely screwed. So like we just want to avoid that situation. So
Yeah.
went up to South Georgia. It's been great up there.
something to touch on real quick about PK and their Gatka loot spot. You know, Mount Everest, right above Gatka.
Yeah.
Whenever Mount Everest, that's like center circle, PK is up there so fast, and we be looting South George Pool, right? And we rotate around Everest, and every single time we've done that, we be like shot up by like a freaking bison or a UMP, and I'm
You
just
know
like,
that-
that's that
you know that
Gatka
Blue Roof
loot,
compound?
you know?
That Blue Roof compound that's right below Mount Everest to the south, like right on the edge of it. That's where Sam
Yeah,
lands.
yeah,
So he just
yeah.
lands there, and he'll literally just run on foot right up the hill, probably.
Yeah,
I don't get where they.
there's always someone on PK with like a bison or something, just because they just rotate looting a few buildings every time. Like, I mean,
It's
it's
just one
their
compound.
strategy.
Each of them just takes one compound.
Yeah, it works out for them sometimes though. But I just find it so funny every single time. Like if it's ever Mount Everest, right, and we drive by, we'll always hear some like crappy SMG gun being spammed at us, and it's just like they're just chilling up there, you know, with like a UMP, Tommy gun, like.
I mean, it does get zoned a lot, so
Yeah, but I don't know. Shout outs to PK though, because I can't ever play in that type of setting. Like if I only have SMGs, I'd feel so uncomfortable. Like it just, I don't know how they do it. It's like 5
and then there's
bandages.
Nico and his Uzi.
Yeah.
Survival said he asked me if Pachinki was free, if I would go there over South Church every day of the week, bro. South or Pachinki is much better than like anywhere else, just off of the fact that you're never off plane path. There's like one possible plane path that you can't land there, and that's something that's like so annoying for us at South George is like the car spawns around Mount Everest area where you'd have to be landing when you get a bad plane path. They're just like super bad. It's like only buggies and stuff, and there's also people that go there like whenever we're off plane path, so is Omen. And it's so annoying when you guys go to the same spots as us for cars, and we're suddenly like we're landing and there's like one buggy, two people are landing in the open, and like you landed at the compound next to us, and you have like a mini, and we're like driving with a guy in the back of the buggy, and like we run over like Carnage or something else on the way. And it's like, what is going on? And, like, if that situation can be avoided in the PMCO, that would be so great.
Yeah.
And, like,
I mean, I think drop spots depend a lot on a play style, whether you're center, whether you're edge, what you feel comfortable with. But
Yeah.
obviously, if you try to play center, yeah, Pachinki, Picado, that's just
Yeah.
as ideal.
I
as ever.
really like that about Tempo though. They pick their drop spots because it's tailored to a specific strategy. They're not just dropping center for the sake of being center. So, like, there are some other teams though that just like what they do just don't make sense, which is like the most annoying.
I mean, there's
Like
been
PK
times
landing
like during
Jacka.
sprint split.
I mean, I don't know.
If it works for them,
Ice, you're in the
that's
chat,
fine.
dude. What are you doing? Go to a real spot.
Ice is their coach.
Especially because there's so much free real estate. Like, there's so many free drop spots that you could just take. Like Novo,
Yeah,
military.
go back to Novo. Or go to anywhere else.
Go to Millie so we can bridge them. Cheers.
You know how many noob squads go Gatka area? I'm sure that'd be so annoying. Like, we had people come South George in ESL, and all they did was like land hospital on the edge of South George, but it like ruined like all of our games. That's why we were like struggling so bad in most of the games. It's just like having anyone around us was just like crippling to like being able to get cars and rotate quickly, and we didn't even fight them, and it was it was these games.
Yeah,
and,
we weren't struggling at all.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody really fought you, or when they do, they actually like they land near you, so you can actually fight them. Like South George, it's large
too
enough
big,
where like
yeah.
they land far enough away where you can't fight them, and like but just them being there screws you over.
I mean, Pachinki and Picado, all these spots we're playing, it's just, if you contest a team, you kind of have to kill it or just be killed.
Yeah.
And
I wanted
think
the
we
team to
kind of
land on
perfected.
us so we could kill them.
Yeah, I think we kind of perfected fighting our drop spots, so basically every time we get contested, it's just clean wipes. But,
So RQ versus Tempo and Pachinki.
That'd be good.
I
be
really hope
very
you guys.
good.
I mean,
make
if
it,
we
so
make globals, that's the plan.
yeah,
We're not backing off.
I really want you to make it because I want you to be forced out of Picado, and Pachinki.
They're not
You
going to,
won't
dude.
leave, bro.
They're gonna
It
pull.
would be-
They're gonna pull what they did last
That's
split.
that's the reason Tempo didn't make it in the spring PMCO split, because they were too stubborn to leave Pachinki, and they literally didn't qualify because they died in Pachinki every time.
No, but
To
if you,
TU, by the way, I'm pretty sure, right?
it
Wasn't
was
it
TU. It was TU. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But I'm sure Advo has coached them enough that they could actually take fights now.
You guys gotta have like some backup strategy though, and I want to see it play out.
obviously, we'll have a backup strategy, but
Yeah, I want to see
and
you use
we'll
it.
be
Yep.
to contest.
That's why I
Or
want.
not. No, I'm not going to say too much.
I need that information.
I don't want to give away.
No, just kill RRQ. That's your backup strategy.
I can't wait to like. I'm really excited to like see where everybody goes once everyone's qualified and be able to like start planning and stuff. Like I have full expectation that we're gonna be doing completely new things that we never do before. In
you
North
have
America.
to improvise. Yeah.
I love that so much, so I can't wait for
Who's eating?
to be able to go do that.
Somebody's eating.
Is that me? I don't know. That might have been me.
It's
Oh, good.
it's crazy to think, because how many times a year would you guys go overseas and play foreign teams? Maybe 3 or 4 times max,
If you qualify for all of them,
if you qualify
Which-
for
I
them.
really
Yeah.
want-
it's proved
Would be
much
faster,
difficult, very difficult to return to them.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, but like, if you make all of them 3 to 4 times, 5.
Yeah, there's the Chinese thing, the Star Challenge. So
Mm.
I
what
think
goes
it's spring
with
split, fall
winning-
split, the 3 ESLs and China this year. So
Yeah.
that's.
well, he's talking about
6.
international play.
yeah,
Like,
international.
if
Oh,
you
yeah, okay.
if you win the PMCO, you go to the PMCO final. So like us getting first place in regionals, we're invited to that Chinese tournament that we talked about, which is obviously international, and then also the Star Challenge, which is like a content creator kind of thing, where it's 3 players and 1 content creator. But it's
Yeah.
still like an international event. It's still like all the pro teams from the PMCO. Maybe not like the full squad, but like the in-game leaders. Obviously, they're playing pretty similar. So like everybody's like weakened like a little bit, but it's still an international tournament. It's still pretty competitive to watch and play in.
Yeah. So there's 3 international events, each split, pretty much.
Yeah. But I think
Okay.
there could be 6. Yeah, 6 total for the year for
Yeah.
this year. There could have been 6 if like SSG.
I mean, if
won
you
again,
make
they
all
would
of them, you had 6.
Yeah. So like
That's just
really not
where-
that many opportunities.
It's just where if the same players can start getting on a consistent run to go to those tournaments, they'll get better, more experience
Yeah,
at the international
exactly.
events. So that's where you'll get a lot of catch up.
Yeah. So now I can build my experience and then make all the next ones.
Well, that's it. just gonna stay dominant domestically, which is arguably the harder bit, because the game changes so much from international to domestic. You just gotta be good at both, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is your first international tournament, Beo, because you couldn't go to Dubai last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the first that we qualified for. The
Right.
first I'm actually going to. Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Mhm.
I'm hoping to avoid the what is it? I called it Dubai PTSD last time. Was when an SSG fell for the same thing when they went to. This is when you go and win your regional, go to Worlds and get destroyed, and then come back to North America and play
Yeah.
really bad.
Mhm.
I think it's just
Which
Yeah.
is-
a mentality thing.
which can be that pretty much describes SSG's tournaments and stuff since like they went. So hopefully we can go, and if we don't do well, we come back and can still play
I think
well
that
and adapt back
was
to North
also-
America, and then make it back and try again and stuff.
I think that was also partly the reason why they picked a beach. I think they just didn't feel satisfied with their roster after globals and after the Chinese tournament. So they
It
felt
really
like they had to
does
make something.
change your well, I don't have the experience, but it seems like it changes your perspective a lot, like on the game and how you should play. And the last teams that have went there, it's like when they came back, it's like completely changed.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is when
It's a new
space.
team.
Yeah, and when Space Station went international and they didn't do well, I think they this is my personal opinion, but I think they had trouble pinpointing the actual problems. And
Yes.
and I think
Yeah.
what they used to do was probably still the right thing, but they were executing it a little bit wrong due to, other teams at international levels will punish you more, but then they might feel like what they were doing was completely wrong, rather more than an execution error, and they might have like changed a lot back and forth with strategy, players, and all over the
I
place.
think instead of getting a new player, because obviously their roster domestically was very strong, and I think they knew each other very well. They've been playing together for a long time, and I think they should have just gotten some sort of a coach or somebody to help them pinpoint their mistakes.
Are you applying for them right now?
Nah, I'm not. I'm just saying. I think that would have been more beneficial than, trying to take a new player. I mean, their manager probably could have helped with that as well, or maybe getting some help from the PC team or something like that. But getting
Their
somebody
PC
who's not-
team is not good at all. Their PC team, like, I don't know the details, but they didn't make it into like the pro league.
They almost placed last in NPL. They were relegated, and I don't know if they made it. I think they got dropped after getting relegated, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, they got dropped anyways. But
yeah, they got relegated and still didn't do well in the relegated division.
yeah, I mean, it's not really about being good or bad. It's just somebody who knows the game, who's not part of the roster, who
Right.
doesn't experience it. Like,
I
answer
agree
is
with
always
that.
a roster
view on
change.
things.
I agree with that. I feel like going into, and I guess this is a nice segue into World League 2020 and what all of that entails for North America. But going into that, I would like to see more coaches, like more like qualified coaches. I feel right now there are some coaches, quote unquote coaches, that are just. They're not like the coach like of a CS:GO team, right? Like the coaches on CS:GO teams, they put in mad hours, almost as much as, if not more, than the players, right? To like,
Okay, then I'd consider myself a CSGO coach. Yeah.
yeah.
Why are you throwing shade at Ice, dude?
I'm not. I didn't mention Ice's name. You did. Okay, but
That's on you, Bale.
No, that's not ZooTay, bro. I know what he's talking about.
yeah, well,
Who's throwing shade?
obviously, I'm talking about Ice, but I also love Ice. He's in my chat right now, but but like, yeah, like more coaches of that caliber where they like actually do something, right? Like Advo here, who put in a lot of time, make detailed strategies that a team could read, like glance at and understand and look over, all that stuff. So hopefully if PUBG Mobile gets big enough, like more coaches, like professional coaches would step up, and it would help for sure.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
something
an
I'd really
ice
like to
coach
see.
for them.
I've been looking for, just like somebody who's able to like fulfill a coaching role, but I haven't found anybody that like has impressed me enough to actually like feel comfortable having like them help us and being able to like listen and like trust them and such.
Mm-hmm.
One of the
We don't have
biggest-
very good like
mean,
pool of like
It's kind of difficult,
coaches.
whether you want to go for somebody who's played comp in NA or somebody who's like who has a completely different view on things.
We need someone who's
and-
really good to quit already so they can coach.
Yeah.
But then
One of the
that-
biggest struggles of coaching, though, is there are so many smart players in pretty much every esport title that quit and they try their hand at coaching, and they have all the knowledge and information there. They know what they're talking about, but
Mhm.
they can't relay it to people in an effective way. And it's something that a lot of teams struggle with, is finding a coach that they can understand the information. They'll get what the coach is saying. They don't. It's so difficult to explain, but I found that domestically with Australian esports and all that rubbish that goes on down here, people have actually started to do teaching degrees to start to learn how to coach effectively, because it is essentially just teaching and getting the information across.
Oh wow.
That's not a bad idea.
So
Advo, get on that.
yeah, that's it.
Bro,
You
my
do
mom's
your,
a coach.
Start taking.
Well, there you go.
My mom's
Um,
a teacher.
Enroll in university and take teaching 101.
yeah. It's
Nah.
just
I'm feeling
But finding
comfortable with what I'm
professional
doing right now.
coaches
Yeah,
have so many multiple
beneficial.
uses though.
You do have a good point. You can have a really smart player, but if they're not able to effectively convey their ideas, and,
Right.
effectively connect with the team, it's useless.
It's just the same as with any other player. You need somebody who has a good mentality, good personality, who's smart, obviously, who knows the game, and then finding somebody who is good enough at the game, as you said, Bale, but is willing to quit for coaching. I think that's basically impossible to find at this.
I think Bayo would
Well,
make a
off
great
them.
coach.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the day that I fall off, and then I'll come coach somebody.
I don't think that's gonna happen for a while.
Yeah.
Another
I mean, that's
big part of the
a lot
game that the big part of the game that the coach needs to help with is like mentality too, right? So like going into a day, you start off bad and you're tilted, and you have to like pull the team back. And it's something that I've really focused on lately with us is uneven and perk are like known for like tilting like really bad, and this is like that's what they like said was their biggest issue in like the last PMCO. So it was something that I really wanted to focus on. Was like day 2 of the last PMCO, they just did bad every game, and it's because they were all like upset that you're supposed to be doing good, but you're playing bad, and maybe like it's things that are out of your control. So you have to like understand that like, so like our situation where we didn't get cars, like if that's the problem, like sometimes you have to know it's like it's just the game. You got to go into the next match with like a fresh mindset.
You can't carry over things, man.
You can't get salty about things that are out of your control, which is like majority of the situations in PUBG, and you have to be able to like pull the team back together and continue to do well. Like after a bad game, getting like a win on the next map, you're like, okay, we did bad. It's Sandhawk, it hard shifted away from us. We didn't have a bike, couldn't do anything, and then you come back on a wrangle and you win, and suddenly you're back in the tournament and you're doing just fine, which is pretty much the case that happened to us in like the semifinals or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to realize that you can't win every gunfight and every game, especially in PUBG. So
I'm glad my team didn't tilt, because we're like the most inconsistent team based on the stats. Yeah, we literally had so many like bad games, but then we always just jumped into the next one like with a fresh mindset.
That's the thing with PUBG. It's just such the game. It's just such a random nature with the circles, with the car spawns, with loot spawns, even, and you just can't.
And the circles. The circle shifts are like compared to PC.
I don't know what the problem is with that actually.
I
feel like so PC I think it's like after the 4th circle or something, it shifts away from water every time, right? It's just that's how the game behaves. But on mobile, it's just like, no, we'll keep water in forever and a day, and we'll just be disgusting for the whole map.
Yeah, it's mainly the hard shifts
on
too.
It's
the hard shifts. PC doesn't hard shift. Their circles will shift a little bit up, a little bit.
In my opinion.
What do you mean? I think that's the biggest.
I think PC hard shifts as well, but their render distance is so much higher that they can scout so much more effectively.
True.
Before the circle shifts. Like, if it's a hard shift on mobile, it's a blind rotation. If it's a hard shift on PC, you still know what's going on at the other end of the circle. Especially if you hold something like Gatka Mountain or something, or Everest. I don't know what's your call out for that. But you can see everything from there. And it's not only about getting kills. Like, early game, it's just render distance, how much you can see, how much intel you get. And like, imagine mobile teams, like the top mobile teams in NA right now would have the info they'd have that the PC teams have, first circle, second circle. That would be nuts. But yeah, I think it's just PC has a better way of dealing with hard shifts.
I still think mobile circles like technically do hard shift way more than PC though, right? I don't know how much PC you watch, but
that might be a thing. I mean, we have the same circle settings, but that might be a thing. Especially in PMCO finals, that shit was crazy. They did something to the circles.
Yeah.
We didn't know any circles.
Yeah. So yeah, mobile circles hard shift like.
Oh yeah, on PC it's definite. Like it is.
They're more
manipulated to hard shift less. and that's something that that is like a setting that they do set.
There's some settings on PC that are just better. For example, they have hard spawns, like esports spawns for cars. They have all boats are hard spawns.
Are those 100%, by the way, the esports spawns?
Boats are 100%, and the esports spawns, like the esport cars, are 100% as well.
Okay, yeah. I just didn't know if they were 100%.
I think PUBG esports on PC is just more developed at the moment. I think it will when mobile catches up, it will. Well, I think mobile is accelerating at a much faster rate, obviously, with their son dropping out of PC and retaining their mobile teams. So I think mobile is definitely going to catch up, and it's accelerating so much faster. Especially hearing what Tencent has like planned behind the scenes for the World League in 2020.
Oh yeah, World League.
Like it's insane. Oh, I can't share, otherwise Max would kill me. But yeah, I think that mobile is definitely in a fantastic place compared to PC. And as much as your hard shifts at the moment are a pain in the ass, you're gonna love them in 2020 when you have hard shifts and PC doesn't because they don't have a game.
And I think hardships on PC don't affect them too much. I think hardships on PC don't affect them too much because, like, imagine if you play throughout, like, I think EU plays like 90 games in PL, and then NPL is like 64 games. Hardships don't matter too much because everybody will have a bad game, everybody will have a good game, and it's just about winning or consistently placing high in games like you shouldn't be. And I think Tempo's good at that, obviously. Genesis or C9 used to be as good as that, and it's just being consistent through a phase as long as NPL is just crucial. And it sort of eradicates hardships being a factor.
So what can you share with us in regards to 2020? I'll say what I know, or rumors of what I know, as far as North America goes. But
well, I was only briefed really on the talent side of things, and it was just more that there is this obviously with Southeast Asia finals, they announced the World League for Southeast Asia, I believe it was,
right,
coming down there, and yeah, that just seems to be something that could happen because they're looking to expand and they're looking at all these different markets and how they're performing, and they're generally pretty happy with everywhere going. And PUBG Mobile obviously is an incredibly big game, and there's like so many cool things you can do with esports in PUBG Mobile, like with skins, with
microtransactions,
integrating and stuff. Yeah, microtransactions. Like you could have such amazing prize pools and amazing events just from microtransactions alone. So I don't know, everything that I've heard about PUBG Mobile in 2020 is incredibly positive, and
my
the way
other question is NA getting a league? Because all the other regions have been announced at their regional finals, and we did not have an announcement, so it is not confirmed that NA is even getting its.
I genuinely do not know.
I heard we are, and we're gonna be having a LAN. That's just rumors from what I've heard that we're gonna be having.
We were also supposed to get a LAN for PMCO, but it depends on the sponsor. Really.
Were we supposed to this split?
We weren't able to because Vivo's banned, and it's the sponsor.
Yeah,
that's why we don't have a LAN. It's supposed to be.
Sure.
So,
what I'd want for...
It's very possible that we don't have a World League because Vivo's sponsoring it. Like, it's not possible if they have... or it would be online. And I'm, like, hoping it's a LAN that... it's unconfirmed that our World League will be a LAN or not, I guess, is what I'm saying. And I really want someone to confirm that it is.
I want for... Like, what I'd want for 2020 is some system similar to... NPL, that maybe they change things up and make it FPP. Only Erangel and Miramar would be ideal, and then have some decent rev share system so that orgs are more likely to pick up teams, especially because there's so many NA orgs right now that haven't gotten into the scene.
Well, that's the ideal situation, and I think that PUBG Mobile is definitely more inclined to lean that way, just because they have the microtransactions in game, whereas PC just, it's garbage for rev sharing and stuff like that. So I think that there's definitely a world where all that can happen. The FPP thing is the big question mark for me, because I know that it's a bit of a division. Obviously, Asia, they still love their third person and they still play it predominantly. Whereas I've seen a lot of streamers on PUBG Mobile NA go for first person, and I've heard a little bit from community saying that first person is the way to go. And obviously, like a year ago or 2 years ago, we had that shift in PC where everything went to first person, and since then,
Yeah.
like it's been pretty good. Like for spectating, it's just like 1,000 times better.
I think, like, for casual players, play whatever you want, but competitively, anything but first person is kind of a joke. But then again, Vivo's putting in the $2.5 million so they can make the rules, and I'm not going to really disagree with that.
I personally like TPP from a competitive standpoint in terms of difficulty level. I think TPP is harder.
Yeah, but it's so much, like, it's just luck in some situations. Like, you win gunfights, you shouldn't suppose to win. Like,
I guess, but I don't know. I think it's just so my stance on the whole TPP versus FPP thing before I go into PUBG Mobile. I think in general for North America, like as far as Fortnite goes, right? Fortnite is TPP, and just like the only games that are really popular in North America that are like FPP are like your hardcore shooters, like CS:GO, like Call of Duty, where it's supposed to be all reflex based, fast paced. Whereas I think,
but I mean,
I
Fortnite was supposed to be FPP, but they couldn't get the building to match FPP in time, so
oh really?
they didn't do it. Yeah.
Oh,
There were ideas for FPP Fortnite, but they couldn't get the building to match
Can
like
imagine
with
building
the FPP.
in first person. That would be awful. You could
Yeah,
not
that's-
like know when
Yeah,
you're on
exactly.
the edge. You know how many
So
people would fall?
They kept it on like TPP for the, what was it? How did they call it? The World Cup or something?
Oh.
I
think it
really
was-
like both modes. I don't have a problem with either. I just want to play
think-
whatever the majority of regions are playing.
From a broadcasting and spectating perspective, third person takes away a lot of the cool moments that can happen just because someone can go
Yeah.
raw and see everything.
Yeah, I agree with
And-
that.
But it also allows 1v4s to happen way more often.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it does. But I feel like those 1v4s aren't the same because the player has so much information of where the team's coming in and such like that.
Yeah,
It
they
takes
can set
away
up
like
for
yeah.
when they're getting pushed or
I mean,
something.
PC has gotten to a point where like you don't, like, if it's a 1v4 or 2v4 in the final circle, teams just go into the zone to not give points away, like, because they
Yeah.
know
They know they
There's-
can't win.
getting
Yeah.
getting in a 1v4
FPP is
2v4
is pretty much
basically
just numbers
impossible.
game. Because
Yeah,
everybody's
exactly.
going to trade one for one every time.
I think that's why tempo is so strong. Like, they basically chill on edge the entire game, and then if they enter fight late game, they have all for up and always numbers advantage, and then
That's
they
why
can shoot. So that's a
PC
GG.
is like completely like uncomparable. Like I don't watch PC for strats and stuff. Like you can't use
That doesn't
PC
work,
strats
yeah.
for PUBG Mobile. It doesn't work.
Like the basics work, but not the more complex
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like keep people alive into the end circle is like the biggest thing for PC, but also like they split up like a lot and do stuff. So like I don't know. There's so many more different things.
There's
that
things
you
you
just
can
can't
take
do
over,
because
but-
like the recoil on mobile is like non-existent. So like you
Yeah.
can just laser 6x M4s at long range and like just delete people, which is like not as
I
possible.
really
in,
want
like,
to see
PCs.
EMRs becoming more thing and Tencent increasing.
If they ever
recoil.
increase the M4 recoil, DMRs will be good.
Yeah,
The Scar is
exactly.
perfectly balanced.
I would
So,
totally be
M4
down for
is
that.
just- yeah, I've been
They
asking that
just-
for a long time.
They need to add some horizontal recoil to the M4 because right now it's just a joke. There's basically none. Same for the G36C. That thing is even more OP, but it's exclusive. If the G36C would be like all maps, that would be insane because
I don't think the
It's
G36
even-
is that good. I prefer Like
I think the
M4
M4
obviously
is.
over it.
Yeah, I think the
it's
M4 is better.
The G36 is like an
Yeah.
ump. I just hate it. It just doesn't deal
Yeah.
damage, and it feels like you just have to like hit people more. You don't actually have to, but like it feels like it because the fire rate I think is like slower or something. There's something that
Yeah, but-
makes it. It just doesn't have enough.
It's just
punch.
personal preference in the end.
Yeah, and the M4 is so like has such little recoil anyway that like
What gun what loadout would you choose if you could choose? I think ZooTay goes AKM4.
That's pretty
depends
much
on
my
map. My entire loadout changes with like different maps.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, that makes sense.
maps where you can get an 8x, I really like snipers and stuff. Like I will be like the one in our team that takes like a Car9 or an OM like when we have like a big scope.
Yeah, we got somebody for
But
that.
like yeah, Rain, obviously. But I need a 1v1 Rain, speaking of that, with his what is it, TDM sniper challenge. Yeah, I gotta prove myself. But
TDM
besides
sniper challenge.
besides that, like
That's not even real sniping.
whenever I don't know, the new map is pretty good for it.
But yeah, it's not
What?
available in customs though.
Oh, is it
Unfortunately, yeah, it's not.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
But my loadout, like pretty frequently, obviously like you don't really need a long range weapon because our render distance isn't that great, and the
Yeah.
M4 is just so strong. Like I will just go M4, and then whatever close range weapon I can get my hands on, AK, Uzi, Vector, whatever one
I mean,
get attachments
I'm
for,
not
I'll
playing
take.
scrims. I'm just watching, but I'd go M4 barrel or M4 mini, like depending on the map. If it's Sanok, then M4 barrel or M7.
Yeah,
And then
on
Aaron
If I find
Miramar, just
Sandhawk, I-
M4 and the DMR.
Uzi is so good on Vikendi and Sandhawk.
Yeah.
Vikendi close range stuff just like is much more meta anyway because no matter what you do on Vikendi, you're either going to crash something or going to get crashed. So like you always have to have that close range weapon, and
I think the Uzi and TPP is so much stronger than an
it's
FPP
so
because
nuts, dude.
yeah, because like you exactly know where your opponent is, and then
you just
don't have
pre-fire
the-
as you
you
peek
don't have
out.
the-
Yeah,
yeah, and you don't have the muzzle flash. Like in FPP, the muzzle flash of the Uzi always throws me off for some reason. Maybe it's just me, but in TPP, it's just yeah, as you said, you can pre-fire everything. You have all the info you need. It's just insane.
What are you guys' thoughts on Vikendi coming in? Because I thought it was the most trash map to watch ever. I
It's so
hated
bad.
Vikendi. It was garbage.
Make comp Miramar Erangel only, and everybody's happy. That's
What
it.
is your guys' map ranking? What's the best? And then what's the worst 1 through 4? Like one being
Miramar
your
Erangel,
favorite.
Sanok, Vikendi.
Miramar is my least favorite. That would be my number
Really?
4
Really?
Oh, you mean
only-
for comp or for playing? Just
for competitive, I guess. As well, me and ZooTay are rated off
Competitive?
of competitive, so I guess you have to.
competitive Miramar and Erangel. I think okay, I'd say Erangel because we know that the best, but personally I like Miramar the best as a competitive map because like I don't know, just like it. It's big, everybody has room. Just need to learn how to play it. But yeah, I think for me the Miramar Erangel, Sanok Vikendi would stay like that.
for me it would be. Oh, you could go ahead.
You got. Nope.
Yeah. Okay. For me, it would be
I gotta
competitive
develop my
wise.
opinion.
Competitive wise, I would go with Erangel first, just because we've played enough Erangel to the point where it's so structured that you know where you kind of have to go to close out the game in a way. Like we need this position. If we don't get this position, we're not gonna have a chance to close out the game. And it's like you kind of know what's gonna happen. And then after Erangel, I would say Miramar. Yeah, I would go with Miramar second, and then I personally do like Miramar because it's you kind of don't know what's gonna happen, but you kind of do know. It's weird because Miramar, there's just so many spots on Miramar that you could just get away with if you can make it there. That is right. If you could rotate there in your car that gets blown up in 10 shots, then you have a chance at like just like playing the rest of the game out because there's so many hills and bumps and everywhere on Miramar. And then after that, I would say I don't know. Sandhawk and McKinley are kind of the same. I prefer Sandhawk more just because it's pretty structured in my opinion. Like based on where you drop, I feel like Sandhawk plays out like 80% or not 80%, 60% of your results on Sandhawk depend on where you drop and where the first circle appears, because your pathing is always going to be the same pretty much to whatever side of the map, and then the teams that you're going to run into that's going to be taking the spot in front of you is pretty much always going to be the same. So it's just kind of a repetition game, just like fleshing out your execution of everything on Sandhawk.
I think what you said about Erangel, with everybody knowing it so much, like at times that might come off as a bit radical, but at times I wish that NA just wouldn't scrim Erangel for some time and really only focus on the other maps. Like get these to level we have, that like the level we have on Erangel right now, get the other maps to match that, and then scrim Erangel again, because like for example Vikendi and Miramar, we don't know it.
I set that up. I tried to set it up, but nobody's committed enough to do it, so it failed miserably.
I think we should commit to that.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
our 3 teams would, and there's a handful of other teams that would also do it, but there's literally not 16 teams that are going to show up with 4 players every time that the scrims happen, and like, you know, so we always like, I don't know, it's a mess. Like I've set up like Vikendi only days and Miramar only scrim days, and like we're either like, this is too many Miramar games because like nobody plays serious, and it just,
I mean, if
we kind of suck at practicing.
Monica's, scrims, and GPL and everything that's there, if they'd all commit to it and there's nothing else to play, teams would commit to it. It would piss them off like the first few weeks, but
everybody complained exactly.
What's your map preferences, Bear?
Okay. Yes, I thought about this thoroughly and listened to you guys' responses, and mine is not accurate to how we perform, because Miramar statistically is our best map. As Cloud9, like we
getting
perform
circles is very nice on Miramar.
We perform very good on Miramar very consistently. We almost always do well. But it's my least favorite map strategically wise, and the only reason is the vehicles. The vehicles suck so much. They're so bad. There's not like the perfect vehicle like there is on Erangel. They're all good except for the buggy and the
well, I don't have to drive. I don't have to play, so
yeah, exactly.
I don't care.
The vehicles are so bad. One only works on the road. One only works off road. When you go too fast in the Bronco, the Jeep, it literally just starts turning right and left.
Yeah,
and they both blow up instantly. And then the only one that doesn't blow up instantly sucks at the road and the off road. And if you try to go up the hill in a bus, it just goes like 5 kilometers an hour. And then the bike is insanely good. And then like the buggy is like the second best vehicle, and the buggy still sucks in general for the same reasons it sucks on all the other maps. So it's like just super bad. And I hate like rotating on there, but like fortunately like everybody's bad at it. So if you're a good team, you just like can do really well. Even though the cars are bad, but like if you have to it's impossible to make late game vehicle rotations or even mid game. Like it's just so bad. And the cars don't even give cover either. That's a big thing too. So you can't even play a lot of positions. But like,
what would be your favorite map or your other 3 picks?
So Erangel is obviously very good, but Erangel it's hard to be consistent on Erangel a lot because everybody's like so good at it now, and everybody knows what everyone does. So that's become like one of my lesser favorites. My favorite to play, I guess Erangel would probably be like my favorite one to play. I also really like Sandhawk because everybody always does the same thing, so I can just like predict where every team is accurately in any circle, like what they're gonna do, so I can just rotate super easily. And but like So I like that, but the vehicles do suck. But the scooter and the bike are pretty good. And now that I'm so happy that people actually started using vehicles and stopped gatekeeping and like can actually move around the map now, because that's why Sandhawk was like ruined. But now it's like super fun because you can actually do like some rotations. Everyone's not literally just running everywhere, and that's really nice. I'm glad, and they finally did that. I don't know what changed. Maybe they saw like us or other people doing it in like PMCO and stuff. Yeah,
scrims changed.
I didn't pull out the vehicle card on Sandhawk until PMCO, and then all of a sudden in PMCO, like everybody's doing vehicles, and I'm like, there's no way they learned this from me. I don't know how everybody just started doing it at the same time. It was actually kind of crazy.
Might have been
like,
ESL.
Literally everybody started doing vehicles.
I think we did it in
Out
the
of the blue.
ESL New York.
Yeah, it was probably ESL, and people were like, "Damn, vehicles are OP on Sandhawk."
Tempo is
just
nuts.
Well, they didn't even stream the ESL thing, so I don't know how people.
2 games out of 5.
I didn't know you guys used vehicles on Sandhawk, so that's whatever. But then Vikendi's also very good, except they just ruined it, which I don't know if you've seen me rant about the fact that they just added this awful car to the map. They replaced the Jeep with this like.
Is it not good?
Spec said it's
so
good. I haven't
bad.
tried it yet.
It blows up instantly.
Yeah,
and
it's very weak.
It's like smaller profile. Basically the point is the Jeep is way better, and they just removed the Jeep. So now like I really liked Vikendi because it was I don't know, it's pretty slow and stuff, and it's kind of similar to Miramar in the fact that like people don't really have a good grasp on what to do. So like if you do know what you're doing, you can like do very well. But the vehicles were very good. You could actually rotate, and like the terrain was like good too. Like it wasn't like Miramar where there's like tons of hills. You could actually rotate. So I really liked it because you could actually crash compounds and stuff, and like because the Dacia and the Jeep like worked. And now that they've gotten rid of that, so I think it's dropping on my list. But most of my stuff is like just based off of like how easy it is to rotate on the map. Maps that have easy rotations I like, and the that are harder kind of suck in my book.
All right, here's the big question for you, Beo. How do you think your team is going to do in the finals?
I think better than any other North American team that has gone.
So,
or that
do you count PMSC, the very first one in Dubai?
Yeah, I count it.
You count
I
it?
wouldn't count it, but
I mean, if I was there, we would have done so good, I think. Because the fact that you guys did well without me, with like throwing,
yes,
like throwing you in there, and then also like an entirely new IGL, and like, I think you guys did super good. I don't know if we would get. I mean, so that they got 7th. Gangsters got 7th in Dubai. That wasn't like the most intense tournament, but I mean, it wasn't easy at the same time because we didn't know what we were doing at the time. Like, there'd never been an international tournament before. It was completely like new, uncharted waters. So, I mean, I think the globals it's going to be more difficult to get 7th now than it would have been to get 7th when you guys did it. So, like, we're obviously.
So you think you could get like what, top 5 though?
I mean, yeah, top 5 is I think a realistic goal, not easy, but I think if we play our best, and like stuff goes our way, maybe we get like a circle in one of the games or something. Which, if we have our same luck, we should get a couple. And I think there's a good chance that we could do well, but I think a lot of it has to do with like, I don't know. I think I prepare more than anyone else in the region. And I'm sure Advo does a similar amount of stuff, but I'm actually like a player, right? So like I actually can apply
enforce
studying
it during
and
the
preparation.
game.
Yeah, exactly. Better than like he can, because you're like Nico's getting it like secondhand from you basically.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit more effective for me to do it. And then.
Yeah, I think
I know
obviously
I found like a good way for us to prepare, and I have a good plan on how I'm going to. I haven't started yet, by the way. I'm waiting for all the teams because mine is very.
Yeah, we haven't.
My strategy is very based off of knowing all the other teams. Like the way I IGL is based a lot. It was very heavily based off of understanding the other teams in the lobby, which I think is going to be a big challenge for Worlds and something I'm really excited for because I have to heavily adapt showing up and learning the other teams and stuff.
I think top 5 is very realistic. If you guys do make top 5, I think to me that would be a win for North America, just because of our past performances.
It will probably give us some resources for 2020 as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I hope to go and learn a lot and have the rest of the region be able to learn something and be better overall.
Do you think that, like, what do you think is realistic for, like, us and Omen in prelims?
Prelims is gonna be tough.
Omen has their work cut out for them. I think if Tempo, if you guys are able to get Pachinki and Picado, for example, I think there's a very realistic chance that you guys place top 3. And
I don't think there's anybody. There's nobody.
Yeah, think that, but like,
there's one Japanese team and one South American team in our drop spots right now, and I'm kind of betting that the South American team will leave when they see the Asian team, and that we're going to be better than the Asian team. That's like the plan. Based
on like drop spots, like ZooTay's got to change everything pretty much, unless he wants to fight every game, right? So like, if one of you guys get like uncontested, so the way that we're gonna do well, if we do well, it's gonna be based off of the fact that I'm able to locate a drop spot and get the whole team looting uncontested every game. That's my goal.
When you say we, do you mean NA as a whole or C9?
C9.
I mean C9. Okay.
My like, this is my strategy going into PMCO is basically just get us on the ground with loot and a vehicle every game. I think we're going to do well because I think I can just take it from there and do very well. But that's like one of the biggest challenges, and that's the thing. One of the things that like SSG, for example, is like never able to do. If you can just nail that down, getting 4 people into the mid game, I think we have no less of a chance than anyone else in any other region. I mean we're not really like worse than any other region, like skill wise. It's just like our experience and strategy going into it is
I think
is
that,
always lackluster.
Like I think that us as Tempo, with the fragging power we have, we're probably superior than the EU
one of the
teams.
best in the lobby for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So if we can get us through early games, survive our job spots with all 4, and we can play our game, then I think we have a very realistic chance of getting top 3. And that's definitely the plan. And I'm not scared of anybody, especially after South Asia yesterday.
Oh yeah, I don't watch that region. That region is that's not the one to watch for learning something. That's
what's been going on down there.
Study the other regions because that's like studying Indian region is not quality study material.
Yeah, I just tuned in and I was like, okay, I'm not scared.
I'm just curious who wins. Who am I going to be playing against? That's all I care about.
Speaking of South Asia, the final day is today.
Tonight.
Yeah.
What's been going on? Because I thought India was going to be, or South Asia was going to be an incredibly strong region, and then I come out and I see things. Yeah, and I realize that
India.
There's
India and Nepal basically.
South Asia looks like what NA was the last split. You have like a handful of teams, like 3 to 4 teams that I watch. Like when they get a certain position and in a certain circle, they take full advantage of it, right? But you see a lot of teams that are in certain positions in certain circles and they're not taking advantage of it. They're not like maximizing what they can do.
They're playing super passive.
Yeah. So there's like some teams in South Asia that are really good, but the overall lobby, there's a lot of teams in South Asia that like you're like, what are they doing? You know,
our lobby strength is only like it's like second behind like Southeast Asia, and Southeast Asia doesn't even look that good. I mean, they have like the crazy powerhouse teams, but they still have teams that are like, how is this team in the PMCO? Like, They still have teams that are like that, and obviously all the good teams qualified for the globals. But there's still like a lot of regions, like if you watch Wild Card or South Asia, for example, or even like Europe. Like Europe, there's not really any good teams besides Unique. Like,
And unique is
I think our lobby
random
strength
and
overall is very
aggressive.
good. I
Hey,
think
Bale, is
we're.
there anybody you're scared of, or like any region
I mean,
specifically?
obviously you have to be scared of like China and like
Yeah.
RQ, but I think like RQ is quite predictable on like where they're going to be on like at least Erangel and like Miramar.
Especially with their drop spots and what they play.
Yeah, and
I think they always,
you can bet that
the
they're always
spots
going to
they
go where
play-
they went every time.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they're going to go to their
the
spots.
they play are very consistent.
And so if I'm able to find out a ton of that stuff, like I'm going to know where everybody drops on every map going into it, that I think we can have success. I'm hoping we can get like, so like one spot on Erangel that I'm really wanting to gun for is like not Pachinki, because Pachinki's obviously going to get taken by like RQ, and there's someone that's going to challenge them. I'm really interested in like Razak. I'm really interested in School. I'm really interested in like Farm is one of the other areas that's like
Farm is super strong.
decently center with lots of car spawns or a garage.
Yeah.
Like I just want something like that. Like I think one of those locations is going to get overlooked, right? Like there's no way that there's a team that's their main drop spot from like every region. Like somewhere good is going to get is going to be open. Even Watertown is another spot that's like more center than South George. Like I don't expect us to go South George in
I still don't understand.
Erangel unless like the plane path is like perfect for it or something, or no one goes there, I guess. And the plane path.
I still don't understand why no T1 team in NA has like contested squad on me in Farm, because that drop spot is so strong. Like as you said, vehicle spawns, the amount of loot you get there, like it's basically somewhat of a Gatka, but like on fucking cocaine or something.
It's just too difficult to push people out of splits because you can't land on all of them unless you take 4 like 1v1 fights. Like
I mean,
and then win
yeah,
all of them. It's like super hard to like force people out. You can just like screw over a couple of them until they're like wanting to like.
It's
hey, like, let's just give
because
that
NA
up.
isn't good at individual like skirmishes. Like when you see Chinese teams when they do a split loot fight, like everybody is so quick to push in and like rotate around and get a different angle. But on NA, when you need 4 players to think individually for themselves while fighting another person, it's like it gets so slow and sluggish. I think that's one reason why no one like contests split loots like Gatka or Farm.
TT is the big split loot that no one contests that Ice pointed out the other day.
Yeah.
Ice is like, we're giving them half the map. What are we doing? And it's like, because they have like Lepovka, Shelter, Mansion, and like Prison, so they take like all like the trash spots, but like it's really strong when you have a split loot, right? Like the loot's really good.
Especially with the amount of Western circles we've been getting.
Yes,
lately.
they got that
so
whole
much
field.
control.
That's like
Yeah,
that's the biggest
exactly.
field in the game. They got the whole thing. They have the pick of it. No one goes anywhere close. So like
And
that's
if
really
anybody
strong.
rotates through that and you get your car fucked there, like that's a GG, because
Yes, I literally have
technically.
like that compound in the field. I literally call it rotation compound because it just sees all of the rotations around the entire like part of the map there. It's just it sees everything. It's that one that's like south of Yasnaya. And
I mean, I think we've got a pretty good approach to Western circles, but so it doesn't bother me too much that they've got.
Same. I love those, even though it's completely across the map.
But like those and melee circles are probably our best circles, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't have any circle on Erangel that I don't like. I'm super confident in like every situation. I actually don't like when it comes east straight.
I hate
West,
southeast.
West. That's it. When it's towards us, like when we get the zone, I'm like, I actually like don't like that area. Like when it ends in like what is it, that field like around, not in between Gatka and like Hospital and that radio tower area. Like I hate it when it ends over there.
I think we're like, when it comes to Pachinki zones, we're actually not that good, because like first circle, we always rotate out of Pachinki. So if it shifts back, like somebody on edge will have taken Pachinki, like the strong compounds. So we barely have good Pachinki games
You
if
just
it does
need
enter.
you just need
That's
the
true.
south side of Pachinki. The wizard tower, the like
You
two
either need the church or the garage building on, what is that, northeast?
Yeah, we call it kill house, I think, is like the
Yeah,
the
that
term
one.
most teams use.
Like
I don't
if you
know.
have
Everyone I've
either,
talked to has called it that.
if you have either slaughter, church, then the garage house, or just hold like a strong edge inside Pachinki, you can have a good game. But mostly that shit is taken when we come in because we rotated out of Pachinki and have to get back in.
My favorite circle is actually Ruin Circle. It's super fun because it's so crazy and everything's a spot.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Let's,
C9 play some ruins circles.
Dude, yeah,
You guys
I
are-
don't know. We have a super high win rate for Ruin Circle. Also, like Volnova Circle. We're like every time it's Volnova, I don't think we've like placed below like third or something.
Wait,
what we got in PMCO, I
where's
think.
Volnova again?
Volnova on Vikendi.
South side of Vikendi.
It's the one where you guys won on Vikendi.
ZooTay
in day
was searching
one,
for it on
I
Aaron.
think.
Oh, the city, the big freaking
Yes,
city.
the big
Yeah,
city
yeah,
that it
exactly.
always ends. Oh, and we had a Dobro ending that one time in PMCO too. That was so fun. I love when it ends in the freaking city. And it's like heal off.
Was it the heal off? Yeah.
I want more heal offs because I've cracked the code for heal offs and I want to keep testing it and testing new things. So I wish we would get more heal offs.
Heal
in
off
cities.
Ooh.
We figured
It
out
comes
why you just die randomly. So like, I really want to like use it more.
It feels like some player always stuffs up either on ping or just lets one tick through, and then that's
That's what
how
we
the game
thought.
ends.
That's what we
Yeah.
thought, but we figured out why, and now that's why I want.
I know as well.
Crazy.
I think we
Yeah, I
need
think
the same
everybody
player.
pretty much knows, but like,
More or less. You just have to be more center.
I just want more heal. I wanted.
Exactly.
Oh, the center thing where it does feel
Yeah,
more
but yeah, that's pretty much why people randomly die. We figured that out. It's like you're not dying for any reason. You can have 20 meds, but now it's like, now that I know that, there's so many different heal off strategies that I've come up with now that I want to use. So for a different situation. So I wish we would get more. Every time we do we try some stupid idea that I have, and then like it doesn't work or it does, and I'm like, oh, we can make it better like this, but then we never get another heal off, and when we do, I don't remember. I'm like, so,
Yeah.
I wish we got more.
When was the last time you guys had a Miramar Circle on the Far Eastern Islands, by the way?
Far
Never
Eastern
in competitive.
Island. Never.
I've never had that.
You've never had that?
Oh,
Okay.
do you
I've
remember
seen it,
that
and
one?
it's so cool, but like I wish we would get it, but no, never happened.
The craziest we've ever had on Miramar, from what I could recall, like even just scrim wise, was when it shifted northeast, like all the way up to.
Oh.
You guys were alive.
Oh.
I
C9.
remember we won.
Yeah, you guys. That was the most
There's
ridiculous.
a giant field in the top right of the map, and it's completely open. It's like the size of like that big Yasnaya field that has mansion in it, and there's one compound at the top right corner. It's got water on one side, a giant cliff on the other, and then the rest is just all open field. And you can like get on the roofs and stuff. And I saw a circle, and that was at the top right. I was like, it's ending at this compound. I literally said it, and like, we're going there. We just full sent into this compound. It was wide open because it's such a bad compound.
Yeah.
And it hard shifted to like that compound every time. It was like fucking hunting season.
I turned on my screen
field.
share. It ended right here. If you,
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah,
That
it-
is. Yeah.
it ended
That's good
right
again.
at this
So
compound.
good.
It was the most
I was
wild
like, okay.
circle ever.
That field was like half the circle. It's like it's ending
Yeah.
somewhere in this field, and this compound's the strongest position if it ends anywhere there. So I went there, and it ends on the compound, luckily. But like, we were gonna win that game no matter where it went, though, since we got that spot.
It was ridiculous.
I think we were only like a 2-man squad too, and it was at like halfway through the match, and we still won that game from that compound.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need many people to control that compound.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's only 2 angles to hold, right? Since you have like that cliff, you just and like
Yeah, exactly.
nobody
the cliff
really
covers your
went to
back.
the water
Nobody
side,
can come from water. Yeah.
That was the
super
dumbest
easy.
circle ever. I remember.
But that's happened before. It's happened before in a Wicked tournament, so I knew it was coming. I was like, we're going there that comp because I played that compound before. I was like, I have an ability to remember every single end circle when I see it. I'm like, oh, I remember where this ended, or like, I remember how this played out. We need to go here, and like, I'm like, this compound's gonna win no matter where the circle ends.
Wait, we don't have these buildings here in the mobile version, do we? This right here? I don't think we have that.
I don't know.
Cause yeah, we don't have that. Cause I remember in that scrim game, we were edging in, thinking there's no way it's gonna keep hard shifting top right. It's gonna swing back towards us, and we made it past this area, and there wasn't any buildings here, and then we died.
We did have a PMCO zone in the semifinals that ended on the far left of the map, up against that big cliff on the far left border.
Oh yeah,
in the bottom left. And we were like, there's nothing to do, so we just like full sent it in cars and just like instantly died, got like 12th place or something.
We got third in that one.
Yeah.
Because it was just so far
one.
away, and we didn't even have enough cars for the whole team. We're like, we had like a bike and a buggy, and we are like, good luck, boys, see you later. And then the people that full sent died, and then I was the last one alive, just like snaking it on the side, and got killed because I was in the middle of like the road that you're showing right now. And on the like, there's a ramp, or it's like a slope on either side, and I'm just like in the middle of the road with no cover and a smoke, and it's like you're just so screwed when it goes to like one of the sides of Miramar.
Yeah, it ended right here where I'm drawing, because I remember SSG had this shack right here at one point, and then it ended just around there.
Yeah, I died in that dip in the road up to the right of the top right of the screen.
You had like 20 teams around you because you came in from the north.
So bad.
And majority
of that dark side of the road, that cliff there. There was someone on the opposite side too, and they had to cross the road.
Yeah, more than half the lobby was north.
There's another compound that has like, if you hold that, it gets circled to GG. It's like more to the right.
Is it above Picado?
No. Wait. I'll take a screenshot and I'll send it into the group.
There's one above Picado that it always ends on too. In between Picado and Pozo, it overlooks that whole field.
I can't wait to go to Malaysia. I just want to...
Yeah, I'm excited to do well, and I'm excited to get destroyed, whichever one happens.
It's a good experience for everyone.
Are you gonna try and strategize for the Chinese one, or?
Yeah, of course.
To a certain degree.
I mean, if it's 25 teams, I'd rather it be 25 teams. I really want to try that, but yeah, I could never go into something without strategizing. My brain doesn't work that way.
It's gonna be hard for the teams that have to wait until the prelims, because how many teams go through from prelims? It's not that many.
It's three.
Three, yeah. We need Tempo and Omen need top 3 if we want to get to finals.
I mean, it's gonna be a lot of...
rough.
It's not likely that even either of you guys make
it. Here's a question. Do you think, Advo, top 3 in prelims is going to be harder in the prelim stage, or us getting top 3 in NA?
What do you mean? So
like, which is more difficult? Because
NA or prelims?
Yeah, NA or prelims.
Prelims, definitely prelims.
I wouldn't think so.
I kind of feel like
NA's lobby is definitely better than, I would say, probably both the world's lobbies.
Yeah, but you don't know what the fuck is going on.
That's
so random.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing we have. That's the biggest challenge.
I know what everybody's going to do. Like, it's easier to anticipate, and prelims is gonna be, people are gonna do shit they've never done in their region. So even if you know the region and you've bot reviewed a lot, it won't really help you. There's always gonna be something that will surprise you. And
that's a good point.
So much more random.
I think for us, like Omen in particular, we might find prelims maybe a little easier, because our strategy in NA is edging more or less, right? And so we have to every circle shift we kind of have to adapt to a certain degree because we are edging. And so going into prelims, because we're already coming into it with like we'll just adapt to however the circle shifts, and then we'll just execute a strategy based on the circle shift. We have more within our control, whereas with tempo, if you guys are gonna stick more so to your getting center circle thing, it's like there's more unknown factors going into prelims, because on NA you guys strategize center circle
the
down.
problem with edge is, especially in globals, that if you get unlucky, and prelims is gonna have a lot of center teams, and I think they will have, finding entries into the next zone after like phase 4 or 3 or 5 is very rough, and people will gatekeep you a lot. That's what happened last split at least, and I think that's like the one disadvantage to edge, is that you kind of depend on other teams to look away in some situations.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you play it right, you can still benefit from it, but I think there's just a certain factor to center that makes it more consistent than edge. Because let's say you've got EU, I know EU
I 100% agree. Yeah.
Yeah, if you get a bunch of teams that focus more on gatekeeping than rotating with you, it's gonna be super rough finding entries. That is.
Yeah, I've already said this before. Like, I've told my team, like, we need to mix our strategy to have an in-between spot of how tempo does it, and pretty much how I feel like how C9 plays, because I see C9, you guys sometimes just know when to take the fight, like in a center-ish area, and then also you guys are very good at finding
our
your
play
your
style
edge
is
in.
whatever we need for that game.
Yeah. Whereas tempo, I would say, is like more center, and then for Omen, we're just more edge, where C9's kind of mix a good balanced mix of both.
I think like when we're completely center, I've never seen us play edge basically. Like tempo and edge doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Is that
you guys
a
will
player
never...
preference thing, or is that just because that's the way that you think the game is best played?
That's just, we've been playing that way for... Okay, here's the thing. I think, like, we chose our job spots initially. The boys chose their job spots based on their playstyle. So, like, imagine playing Pachinki but playing Edge. That's kind of ridiculous. Same with Picado and other spots. And then we've been playing that way for like a year. Like, that's just, we know it the best. And I couldn't really imagine us edging in. I don't think anybody on the team could imagine that. So it's just, we know edge and we know center, and we stick to that.
Okay.
You have to... Not every team can go center. Like, not every team can have that playstyle. You have to have a... like...
You need to be able to frag and
fighting. Yeah, exactly. Tempo was finally able to put like a roster together that was able to keep up with their playstyle.
Oh, so yeah. You definitely need fragging power if you want to play that playstyle.
The addition of like Rain has like made you guys insanely good, and Spec becoming a super good player.
Yeah, I mean, as you Spec just improved since like from the start of PMCO to regionals. He improved his close range TPP fighting so much. It's actually insane. Like, we 1v1 before, and like I was having a hard time, especially on NA ping, but I won one round, he won 2, and then after PMCO we did it again, and he just completely destroyed me. Like, I didn't even stand a chance. And then Rain obviously
right now. That circle that we talked about is happening in the top right.
Yeah.
On what, Miramar?
Yes.
Yeah, Miramar.
Oh, I'm gonna take a quick look.
And then I think Rain, after Spring Split was done, like, I noticed him because he got insane damage numbers. So I scouted him a bit more, and then I
Rain was
said to Monica,
everybody missed out on.
Yeah, exactly. I said to Monica, what you just said, he's a hidden gem, and we should consider him. and then we did, and then it was like kind of a last minute pickup before.
Rain was wildcard or Misfits?
Wildcard.
Wildcard.
But he
we
played
were
for
a
Misfits.
little salty you guys took him from us because he was gonna be our sub. But I mean, he's obviously super good and doesn't deserve to be like a sub. But like he subbed for like them in ESL and stuff, and like they're friends. So he was like wanting to play with us. Then he joined Tempo, and he's done so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think well, he had to adapt a little bit because in wildcard, I think as far as I can remember, wildcard was a bit more edge than center, so he had a bit more freedom.
Every
They
team
don't
is
have
a bit
developed strategy.
Every team's a bit more edge in comparison to Tempo and PK.
Yeah, obviously. No, but I mean that he had a lot more freedom over whether he snipes or doesn't, and now I think that he had to adjust his playstyle a bit to our playstyle. So if you compare his numbers from Spring Split to Fall Split, he barely got any headshot kills, which he got from sniping, and his damage went back a lot. But I mean, if you could just, you have the player stats on stream.
Yeah, I could pull it up. Give me a second. Which stage is there a stage in particular you want me to look at?
Just regional finals, player stats, and then just damage and kills. Like his damage went back a lot, but not that he got worse or anything, but he's just not sniping as much, so he's not getting as much damage. But
it's also not the sole carry on the team anymore. Like
yeah, exactly. So he's just been a great pickup, and I'm glad we got him. He fit in so well. Yeah, but now he has a more AR focused playstyle now, as we all have, because it's just a lot more close range.
I think sniping's making a big comeback in the NA scene though, especially with
definitely.
I know other players are sniping. It's not just Sixless, but Sixless is probably one of the more public figures within
He's advertising it again. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely the one that's like putting it out there, and he's actually doing sniping at a competitive level where it's like useful. You're not just bopping someone 200 meters away and then not doing anything off of it. Like I've seen like clips of Sixless sniping headshots where it's like very useful and impactful. So
I think
they also get screwed over a lot because he's sniping well.
Yeah, I think our roster is kind of a weird situation when it comes to loadouts. Like I'd say on PC it's just 3 DMRs, 1 sniper, and then just ARs for everybody, obviously. And then we have Spec and Rain usually snipe. Nico just goes AR and then either Uzi or just AK or something like that. And then she goes DMR AR, so it's really weird. But I think the sniping has benefited us a lot, like getting entry frags or entry nogs before crashing something to take center is super helpful for us. And then obviously just the ability to deal damage through sniping.
I have a quick question for Bayo. What happened when Edwin had to play one match? I just noticed Edwin played one match in the...
we played that. We went into that game, and we were like, I think it was at the end of the group stage, at the end of the semifinal or something. It was like some game that didn't matter, and I was like, hey guys, like whatever we're doing is we're just gonna like go crash like some position that we think we can fight. You crash somebody and died, like first.
So that's the game you brought Edwin on for. You're like, hey Edwin, we're gonna suicide.
Had to go or something. I forget what happened. I think it was like a Sunday night, and it was like super late or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the things that Dave and I were talking about backstage, about the times for NA players. Is it difficult because East and West Coast are so far apart for NA? Is there any difficulty? Have you guys run into difficulties with the time zones for these tournaments, especially when they're scheduled from different time zones? So we were broadcasting from China, obviously, and we're trying to have time zones where we weren't broadcasting at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So did you guys find any difficulties running into the time zones, or have you in the past?
Not for me, but there are a lot of young players. But like the regional finals did end at 2 a.m. every night. Like, and that's not even Eastern time. Eastern was like 2:30 or 3. I think it ended at like 1:30 my time, but
I mean,
it is very late.
I don't think NA has any problems, but the only one
Sunday
I can think
night
of
for
is
in the school year, which is like what this. There were like I don't know some issues with some players. Like no, obviously everyone is still gonna like play, but like
Yeah.
Perk was like, I'm so glad I don't have school tomorrow for whatever reason he didn't have school. It was just like happened to be called off or something in the regional finals like that Sunday night. He was like, because it was like 2:30 when we ended, and then we were still like hanging out until like 3 his time or something, because we had just won. And he's like, thank God I don't have school tomorrow and I have to be up in 3 hours. Like,
Yikes.
I can't
That'd
imagine
be so
still
awful.
like, yeah, being that young and having to go to school in the morning after competing in some tournament or something. It ends at 2 in the morning.
Oh, I have a question. So for C9 and Tempo, I guess, like for the players, because C9 and Tempo are pretty known orgs. I'm just curious. Do you guys ever wear your merch to like, or do they ever wear their merch to like school or something? And then people ask, like, are you part of C9? Are you part of Tempo? Stuff like that.
People have just told me like, I like your hoodie or something.
It has your
But,
name on the back, right?
I don't wear that one in public.
Oh, okay.
I'm never
Gotcha.
gonna wear jersey or that in public when I'm not like hanging out with other people on the team or something. Like I'm never gonna go up by myself to get food or something and wear my jersey. No, I'm not cool enough to do that. But like
I see.
I got recognized more in the airport when we went to LA this last weekend or the week before than I do at school. So like
I see.
yeah, I don't know, it's not that much. A TSA agent was like, hey, has C9 played in Worlds yet? I'm like,
What?
no, they just lost. No, not
like-
PUBG Mobile. League.
Oh,
There was the League of
League.
Legends Worlds that weekend. I'm like,
Right,
yeah,
right,
they just got knocked out like the day yesterday or something, whatever day in the group stage was. That was the only time that I had like a real conversation about it. But
Respect the damage god.
Yeah, Spec had
He
insane
has, like,
damage.
Yeah.
Team Liquid with the last place.
Yeah, Liquid kind of
Over
choked
6
the
games.
whole of today.
They were expected to win this group. Well,
Yup.
I guess 4AM probably was, but like Liquid was like supposed to be like super good.
The amount of support that 4AM get. So when we were in China with VSPN doing the PMCO, we got invited to go to the PC Grand Finals for the China region, the PCL, and the amount of support 4AM get. Like first off, the facilities are like disgustingly good. Like every team, all 16 teams have their own room. They have double monitor setups. You know, couch, TV, fridge. You know, anything they could need, and they have like big communal rooms. They can all coach together and stuff. It's all really cool, but just the amount of money that these players make, like they're all like the 4AM players are all on over 100k USD each, and then they're living for free. They're not paying for like computers or anything. Like they have zero expenditure, and they have these massive fan bases. It's crazy. And then you go and you think about the players from other regions, like that aren't even doing it full time. You just think about the sheer difference
The
of these
support.
players.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Have you guys seen the OMG like esports facility that they have?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I have it up on the
Goals.
screen share. This is just Google
The
Images.
Liquid facility is pretty cool.
The new Alienware one.
Yeah, exactly that one.
Yeah, it's really good. The some of the Overwatch League ones are pretty cool too. Like the Envious one, like the new one they're building for like Envious Dallas Fuel and the COD as well. It's insane. One of my mates managed to luck out to play on the Dallas Fuel, and he's just been like, showing me pictures and stuff of it behind the scenes, and it's honestly like dream type stuff.
So speaking of houses and whatnot, so with the Tempo roster, if you guys get a team house, would they be down and able to like move in? It's kind of similar to what SSG did.
I know Chi is. I like. You mean for 2020?
Yeah.
Okay. I would be able to. Monica would definitely be able to.
Oh, Monaco would be some great content. Monaco with the
Monaco would
team.
set up a 24/7 stream in everyone's bedroom
Yes.
I know.
and
I know.
bathroom
So
and toilet
think-
and
I don't know about Rain and Nico, but everybody else definitely. Because I think they're both studying or in school right now.
Right.
But I'm graduating like early 2020, so when the league starts, like,
yeah, I need to know when the
Probably.
league is even gonna be. Because if it's like
I guess
in the
I guess
school year, I'm just not gonna sign up for classes, of course. Like,
I guess it'll be just like spring, early summer, something like that. So I'm graduating before that, so I'd be free to do whatever.
well, I would
That would
hope
be
it would
like
be
my
in like
full-time job then.
January or February. Maybe I can go to California, get away from the cold for a month or so. That would be great. I hope it's during the winter.
Do you guys think PUBG is going to grow to that like size where a lot of the orgs all have team houses where like the teams are playing full time?
If it's a league system, like compared to NPL, obviously, but then
Right.
again, Tencent would probably pay the houses and accommodations.
Not
It's
for PUBG Mobile. I don't think people are
it's a really
too young and too old, really.
I mean, it has grown to that point in Southeast Asia, India, China, whatever. Like that's it's already at that point there. But I don't. Western audiences are
It's different.
it's so different. It's so fickle as well that it can be really difficult. So unless you have like the League of Legends type backing, where you're franchising basically, it's really really difficult to have all that investment.
Also, mobile, that is something I've noticed, is a lot of people are like, the age range is very wide, and the players are very young. So, like, for example,
players
you
are
just said
very,
that
very
like
young.
two people from Tempo, and including yourself, are in like they're still in school, right? So like they can't necessarily just like uproot and go move to a team house to start playing PUBG full time. Like somebody like on PC, it's kind of expected, and more like if you're competitive and like PC, it's more intensive. You know, like so. I'm sure most of the CS:GO players that became pros and like moved into their like team houses and stuff, like, and same with like League of Legends, like they had already been doing that full time for a long time before they like did that move. And like
Yeah.
for
I
mobile,
see.
there's a lot of people that still work a full time job while playing like pro PUBGM on the side and or for fun, and or they're like kids that are in high school that are also playing
It's one of those.
PUBG.
One interesting thing to look at it is you got to remember that games like Counter-Strike and League of Legends, the MOBA genre to an extent, they've been around for longer than phones have even existed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like mobile is really in its infancy still, and
Obviously.
as it's progressing obviously very quickly because the foundations have been laid by esports over the last few years,
And
accelerating.
we have like some sort of role model through PC PUBG.
Yeah, so there's obviously it's going to bounce pretty quickly, but I think in the West especially, it's going to take a few more years, probably like 2 more years, I'd say, before mobile.
Yeah.
It's mobile really starts to catch up to PC.
Yeah, I
And
think
even
if next year, or this coming 2020 year, I think if it goes really well, yeah, it would still take 1 more year until
Yeah,
it gets to that
And then-
level.
and then you have to start as a mobile player. Then you need to start becoming worried about VR taking over as well. So because
Oh,
that seems like the natural progression is the technology increases in VR, and then all of a sudden everyone's
VR
willing to do
LAN
that.
tournament. Everybody's
I-
in a VR headset running around on the stage.
I think
By running
I
around,
think
it's gonna be
technology.
epic.
I think technology will get to that stage. It's gonna be where you have to be physically athletic, like traditional
Yeah.
sports, but then integrated with technology, like savvy, like VR.
Have you heard the competitive like cycling, but it's online on like a bike, like one of the
I heard there was some
similar to like an
drama
exercise bike.
about
Yeah,
that,
that's how I
yeah.
first heard about it. I'm like, holy crap, that's a thing. Like there's
Yeah.
competitive leagues for online cycling where they actually do like use like a cycling like machine kind of thing, like it just
Yeah.
like a bike machine, but it's not, you're not actually going anywhere obviously, but like I don't know, that was crazy.
Kind of
There's
weird.
like there's some guy was like cheating in it or something because
Really?
the drama was there was a bike. It was essentially like pay to win, but all like the people that were competing had like the same bike, but I forget what you had to do. You had to do some like online course, and you unlock this bike, and it's better than all the others. And there was drama because some guy like bought an account or something, or gave his account to someone else to get the bike or something. But I was like, that's the thing that's crazy. Is it is like exactly what you just talked about, where it's like I guess like technically an esport, but it's cycling and it is a physical activity, and it was so weird. I was like super surprised that even like existed, because it's the same thing where like PC players like, wait, mobile esports. It was like the same thing, but for us, for like, wait, cycling esports.
I'm totally
Just
down
like-
for a future where it's like, there's that one movie, what was it called? It was like a futuristic video game type movie where it's just everything's virtual reality, but
Ready Player One.
yeah, I think it was Ready Player One. Like,
It could have been, yeah.
yeah, I think it was Ready Player One. But just some sort of like shooter or some type of video game where it's VR but competitive, and then you actually get a good workout from it. That would be awesome.
Get the workout.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm exhausted after these freaking games that we play, so I don't know if I'd be able to do that.
It's like mentally
Already tired
exhausting though.
enough. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially as IGL, you have to think for that.
Oh yeah, IGLs. Gosh.
Winning
Bayo,
the
do you ever
regional thing. What's up?
do you ever sometimes wish you weren't in IGL? Like if someone
No.
could IGL
Not for a moment.
just as good as you, and you could just straight up frag, would you prefer that, or would you rather just stay IGL?
I
And-
could never not be the IGL in any team.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just not how. Like, I would unless somebody was better than me at it. I could never like. I don't know. I'm just naturally like, I guess like a leader, and like, unless someone else, yeah, exactly. I guess in a situation where someone was,
Just like on your
was
level or
equal or
obviously,
better than
yeah,
I would.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd be able to.
But would you prefer that? That I guess that's my big
I don't
question. Do you like
I mean,
having
if-
control like
If somebody
being
is
IGL?
on my level or better than me, then I would be agreeing with them. So yes, I would be fine. I guess. I don't know. If the one thing that I would like is that if I could just like do my own thing, like a lot of my play style, like we're holding a compound, but I'm like off on the edge, like doing something stupid and like trying to like either pop car tires or like shoot some other dudes just to like mess with them or like break their armor or something. Or like I'll get a car 9 and then go drive off on my bike and find some angle onto some guy, knock him, and then just drive back to our compound or something. Like I do stuff like that all the time. If I wasn't like the IGLX, I would have a little more freedom to do stuff like that, and also it would be less risky when I scout because I'm the scout and the in-game leader.
Right. And
I
when you
think there's
die,
a thing in PUBG that if you die as IGL, there's not an advantage, but yeah, I guess an
I'm
advantage in
way
some way.
nerfed
Because
when I
like
die.
you can see every perspective. You can switch.
I need to control my own camera, and I need to be able to mark accurately with like enemies ahead thing
yeah,
to display what I'm trying to
I 100%
Oh,
agree
yeah,
with
okay.
Bayo.
get out of my brain.
When I'm
It's
dead,
so much harder. I actually get anxiety spectating my teammates. Like I cannot do it. I actually am like, what are you doing, Perk? And I'm like, I find myself micromanaging like the entire team. And I'm like, there was a time, this just happened in ESL. I was dead and I was spectating on Even. He was shooting at someone. I was like, and I hear a car 9 off in the distance, and Uneven doesn't hear it because he's shooting at someone else. I'm like, Uneven, don't stand still, don't stand still, don't stand still, don't stand still, don't stand still. Like, what are you? And he prones and gets car 9 in the head. And I'm like, I told you, bro. I'm like, all you had to do was just not stand still because there's 6 lives with a car 9, 200 meters to your right. He's just like, and it's so like such an effortless like thing for me to like think about, I guess.
Yeah,
So, like when you're in the moment shooting and stuff, you get distracted.
I think last split, if you were the IGL and you died, it was still manageable. Like last split, like telling your team what to do. But now
Not for us. That's why we didn't qualify. I kept dying early. Our literal strategy day 2, our change we made, they were like, I need to stop dying.
Okay, maybe not last split then, because I technically didn't play last split, but like before,
yeah.
like early on, when you were the IGL and you died, you could still like manage the team pretty well. But now it's like everybody plays at such a higher level that when I'm dead,
It's so much more complex.
yeah, it's way
We
more
were able to do that in
complex.
Gangstars because you guys were like, so you played with us for a while. Like, you guys were like self-sufficient. Like, you were able to make like decisions on your own, and like
Yeah, when the
a big
level
downfall.
when the
yeah,
level was
like,
very low, yeah.
that we had on Nova, it was like a hive mind. Like, it was like there was no decision making other than like what I was telling them to do, and that was like became a huge hindrance when I was dead, or like because I wasn't able to like be. I have to like the most important thing is like I have to be the first car, and that's a lot of the time like while I'll die and something that's we haven't. So like on C9 now, I don't have to be like the first car drive. Like I'm so happy that I reunited with Pyra is because he like understands me and is able to do the things I tell him to better than I have found on with anyone else. Like when I tell him to do something, like we think on a very similar like wavelength, so he can drive ahead and scout stuff, and I don't have to like micromanage him or just do it myself. Is what I would always do. So I'd be making these like super risky, dumb plays, but I have to do it because no one else is going to be able to do it like how I want it to be done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, and then I get myself killed in dumb situations like all the time. And now I'm able to to delegate that to him in some situations.
So the secret to beating C9 is to shoot the second car
Kill a
in
Beowulf.
the convoy, not the first
No,
car anymore.
I'm still first. I'm still first when I can be, but like sometimes
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
someone
there.
else rotates first. It can
Right,
never
so
be
if
uneven or
PUBG
perk though. They're bad drivers.
If PUBG was a 5-man game, who would you add to your roster?
Oh, PUBG was a 5-man game.
Yeah, who would you add to your roster?
That's actually a good question.
So what you're saying is, basically what you're asking is who from another team do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just another way of phrasing it.
Ooh.
I would just say Bayo, because then I don't have to IGL, because he can IGL. Otherwise, I would probably say Sixless, just because he's proven himself like to be a very experienced player.
Okay.
I have to think about that one a bit more. That's actually a tough question.
But a 5-man PUBG team? That sounds... That... Actually, like, squads has always been traditionally 4 in, like, almost in a lot of games.
I think
4 is just like a random, or not, it's like just an arbitrary number that they came up with. It doesn't actually, like, it's not like the 5 may be better or maybe 3 is better, but like 4 is just like what it ended up being, and that just became the standard. Not
I
for any, like,
think-
I
particular
would be tough to IGL.
I think 5 would be cool, though, because you could... If you have a 5-man team that's really good, like imagine a 5-man Chinese team, like the shit they can do just because they have another player that's as synchronized as the other 4, like that'd be wild.
Who's the best solo player? Not in the sense that like snaking, but like is the most self-sufficient player. I'd want that person.
Probably
that would be.
Sixless.
I don't think 6.
He's very good at his role.
I need someone else who's so like this is what I talked about before, is like the balance between being a good gunner and then being smart. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking like Nico or Spec. I think they're both good combinations. I knew Spec was going to be super good because I played Critical Ops with him, was the game that we both came from before PUBG, and we were both like super good there, and so there's huge advantages to like. So Critical Ops is basically CS:GO. Smash, you probably have never heard of it. It's CS:GO
Absolutely.
mobile. That's what it is. Okay, it's the same game.
Yeah.
And so same reasons that like Shroud would be like excellent at PUBG, because he like has this background of like a shooter on PC or like us on mobile, then like also like team fights and I don't know. Basically, like the gun mechanics were super good coming from that game, and then had to like learn PC strategy or PUBG strategy, not PC, and then combining it together makes like a really deadly combination.
All right.
Okay.
Do you guys want to do? Let's do like one last talking point before we wrap this up, in regards to. I don't know.
What's a good one?
I think we've talked about almost everything.
Yeah.
I want to keep it in line with like PMCO, PUBG Mobile.
We didn't talk about why people did bad.
Yeah.
yeah.
What was you? Yeah.
But
Why did you
I don't want
guys?
to be toxic, but come on, that's time.
I'm ready. I'm down to be the
Let's end this podcast on a toxic note.
Nobody's watching anymore. They've all fallen asleep.
I don't know about that.
Okay, who are we going to focus on? PK and Tribe, I'd say.
That's who was you guys mentioned. That's what I was looking up.
Okay,
Yeah.
why did PK do bad?
I think we talked about it a little bit, just because their strategy is very one-dimensional, and when it goes well, it goes well, but when it goes bad, it goes really bad, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's too much based on RNG compared to other playstyles.
All right, this is the one I want to talk about. Team totality.
Oh boy.
I think
Because this is my understanding of their team is they have absolutely no strategy, like zero. Like they don't have any strategy at all going into the game. They literally just like end up where they end up and they just shoot people, and then they figure out the easiest path into zone.
they're really good
I
at
think
shooting
people
people,
like-
though.
Yeah, that's why.
HH24 is very good at shooting.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think
HH
Tim and
intense,
Tensa-
People like
yeah.
H and
I
people
can't
like
tell you
H
how
and
many times
Tensa.
HH and Tensa have just like 2v4'd us or like 1v4'd. Like it happens like all the time,
Yeah.
and it's not just us. It's like every team. It's like somehow they literally count for like 2 people. So, like
I think
they're by far like the
uh,
deadliest team to run into, and it's
and they're
actually
at
like
least the deadliest
only because
duo.
of there's 2 guys.
I think the deadliest
Destroy
teams
kids,
would
yeah.
be C9 and us, and like the deadliest duo is definitely H and Tensa. There's somehow they got some insane synergy between them.
Yeah, they did so good in ESL. Like we were like, why is like Totality doing so ESL or so good in ESL? Or like, okay, they have like a little bit easier of a lobby, but like, the lobby was easier, but they also were just like just killing people, right? And that was like kind of what you had to do. Like there were so many teams in ESL. It was a 20-team lobby smash, so it was like
Yeah.
just, and there was
I
a lot
think
of like noob teams that were just kind of like doing random stuff and like just being in like weird places. So like you couldn't really use the same strategies that you used in like PMCO.
I think H and Tensa
You
are
just,
probably
you just
like
kill
the best
people.
upcoming players at the moment. Like if you put them
Yeah,
on a
they're
roster
super
with
good.
like 2 more established players,
they're gonna get
maybe
poached at
established
some point.
braggers.
It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
Who's-
2020.
I didn't.
Yeah.
What did you say? I couldn't understand.
I said they're gonna get poached.
Okay.
They're gonna
yeah.
someone's gonna take one of them or both of them onto another team.
Or
Exactly,
they're gonna get
I
2
think-
different players.
Yeah, or they're just gonna
If
like
they get
rebuild their whole
2
team
good
or something.
established fraggers, I think that would be pretty deadly and scary.
Yeah, or if they get somebody that like is a like solid IGL or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but they were like, so they dominated the semifinals, right? They won, and then they went into the finals, and I don't think they ever really did that great. Did they get any wins?
They got
They did.
one win.
Yeah, 1-1.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember the when they killed us, and the circle ended on where we were.
What a surprise!
Yeah, and
I swear, the circle always goes to where C9.
that was
the
that
very
game
last.
where Tensa killed me through a wall. Do you remember seeing that on the stream? It was like super lagged or something.
I don't
It
remember
was, like,
that.
I like peeked behind a corner at like the yellow buildings next to Gaka, and like a full second after I was behind the corner, I just like fell over and died, and it was desynced so bad. And also PMC was such a nightmare because everyone's game was crashing like all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just like-
it was quite noticeable that teams would just like miss
That
a
was
player.
so annoying. It
Why did
happens
you-
during fights too. I swear, I can't tell you how many times we pulled up like that game where we crashed PK at the barn house, and Uneven's game crashed while we
Oh, you guys
crashed.
still won that
And
fight?
he was Yeah, he was AFK in the car the whole time. Like, this whole
Wait,
fight
and you
was
guys
so
still
stupid.
won that fight against? Oh, that's rest in
It
peace,
was-
Iced.
It was so bad. Like, I don't know. Our,
What do you guys
somebody crashed
think
every game.
Tribe did bad.
I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah. Why do you guys think Tribe did rather bad?
I think they're a very emotional team. They're a super emotional team, and I think they didn't get off to a good start, and they didn't get circle blessed because
Them also qualifying last time where they were super overperforming. Like, for
Yeah,
what
they just
they were
were they
expected
noob
to
crushers? Because obviously, like the last lobby is where like
they
the most
they
skill
just
is.
got blessed by a
They-
lot of circles in semifinals.
The semifinals, they had 5 wins because I think it was that same day or something. They literally got like 5 games in a row or something.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
won
they
5
won like
in a
3
row,
or
right?
4.
And it was
Yeah, they
think-
won.
I think they actually
5 out
won
of
5 in
6.
a row.
No, it
I
was
think
like
the thing about Tribe is that I think they lack fragging power a lot. And then-
yeah, a lot.
Exactly.
They're
And
just so
then-
passive. They just don't do it. Like they get into situations where they can win like all the time or like take control of the circle, and they just like don't. They'd prefer to just like sit behind the rock in the grass or something than play aggressive on the top of the hill and
Yeah, it's
put
like
fire
that.
on
It's like
people.
that
They've always
ESL
been
game.
that
That
play style.
one ESL game
Yeah,
where
they could have won if they just
they-
like moved.
they had they had entire control of the bottom hillside, but they never peeked over the top to shoot at the 3 different teams that were fighting right above them. They just all went prone.
Yeah,
They're like, let's wait for them to
That's-
kill each other, and then we'll kill them at the end or after. It's like,
exactly.
eh.
They have to be more
Sometimes you
proactive
gotta know when
and
you're-
trust more in their shooting.
Exactly.
Alright, here's an interesting one. Why do you think Space Station didn't win a single game in PMCO? They got 6. They got second place, I believe, 6 times from
Oh yeah.
groups all the way through semis.
I
They
think
didn't win a
that's just
single game.
I think that's just to blame on the roster changes literally a week or so before PMCO. They just weren't used to each other and had to switch it up a lot and were
Sure.
too inconsistent with it.
They were blaming a lot of I think their shortcomings was on they kept switching out Rolex and Beach like
Yeah.
every
They could've
like a bunch of
committed
different games. It was like, yeah, they just
one.
need to commit to one. I think they generally did better with Rolex, and they should have just been playing him the whole time. Like, I don't think Beach was an issue, but like I think they did. I
They
remember
did
in
better.
ESL they like dominated some game when they put Rolex in, and Rolex like carried them or something. And there was one PMCO game where they had a fight, and it was like a 2v4, and Rolex got like 3 knocks or something, and then died. And then like they also like weren't on the same page. That same game, it was a game where Sixless was hiding in the bush, and Rolex was like
Yeah.
1v4ing a squad in the
Oh,
garage
I'm not
building
sure.
right next to him.
Yeah.
And he got 3 of them, and there's one guy left, and Rolex gets knocked, and Sixless, they spectate him, and he's like sitting in a bush right next to the building. It's like they were just kind of like off, and
Yeah.
they've been known for very good team play, right? So like,
And,
and
they
their teamwork
lacked
wasn't
that,
there.
yeah,
They weren't getting super
no
lucky.
synergy.
Yeah, the synergy was off. That's what I'm trying to say.
If they got
And
back
I think
on
they were
track
pretty
and
tilted.
Get the synergy back up, like they could probably come back even stronger than they were with Carnage on in Spring Split.
They likely tilted towards the end, and then weren't able to really bring it back.
Unlucky, I guess. Doesn't
To a
bode well for
degree.
team houses.
To a degree. The fact that they got so many second places means they had so many chances to close it out and
Exactly,
win. But synergy,
They never did.
yeah,
The one that
synergy
comes to
becomes the
mind
most
is
important towards the
The
end.
finals third game where it was a 4v4 versus us in the Pachinki field, and like we were like
Oh,
completely smoked
yeah.
off and couldn't really see anything, and they had like a ton of room to maneuver. They didn't really have cover, but they could maneuver around, and they kind of just like proned there and just waited to die rather than actually like shooting back even or like.
Oh yeah, I think we got third with like 7 kills that game. We crashed you and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
wiped
But like I think they were in a worse position, but they also weren't actively trying to do anything at the same time. So like at
They
that
could've-
point when you're in the field, they're like just smoke up the others. Like our walls were completely smoked up. I was doing that. I was throwing smokes to like give us like some cover and stuff, and like we were just kind of like spraying through the smoke. Once we realized like where they kind of were, but like they should have just like attempted to
one
push.
through the smoke.
Yeah, like they needed
Yeah.
to like be proactive. Is like word. Like that was a very winnable game for them because there wasn't anywhere we could
They
be
should
other
have
than that
gotten
wall.
into a position
Right.
where they could have like
Yeah.
held some angles on you, and
If they got up to
kind
our
of
wall
gatekeep
on the
you in
side, yeah, they
compound.
could have just like had cover and took TPP fights with us. I would have had a chance to win. Like we weren't real. They didn't really pressure us at all, even though we kind of had to like come out from that wall. They just gave us a lot of time to just spray the entire grass, mow the entire lawn until they were dead.
Yeah.
Because that was our
I think-
strategy. It was like just shoot everything, shoot all of the bushes until we kill them.
Okay. I think this is probably a
I
good
think-
question to end the podcast on, since we're talking about weaknesses on team. What do you guys think is NA's biggest weakness? It could be anything.
For me, that would be the lack in players available. Like the player pool is so bare bones, and then the players that do get picked, they're like NA focuses too much on fighting and like fragging power instead of maybe focusing more on building a roster that like where the personality fits and having a roster that is smart. Because if you get people into position, or people can get themselves into position from where they can shoot, you don't need that much fragging power because everybody can shoot or spray an M4 basically.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty much saying the same things. There's just nobody. There's nobody that can frag and is smart enough. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I guess it'll be the size of the region. I mean, mobile gaming isn't dominant in NA yet, which is a problem.
Yeah, we need-
Obviously, you're losing players that would be good to PC or console or whatever, as well as the fact that it seems like, and this is really, really rare and something that I haven't really seen anywhere else, is the fact that every tournament is so different for you guys. You don't really play a standardized rule set anywhere.
Yeah.
So it changes between size, between circle settings, between lobby settings, lobby size, like
Perspective.
perspective. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, that
once
too.
you guys get a consistent base of what you're playing, you can obviously improve way better because you're practicing the same things. You're not having to prepare for 3 different types of game. So I think that will help and it will go a long way. It's just a matter of tournament organizers getting their act together and deciding what the best is.
I also think limiting the maps, not playing 4 maps on, or a different map every game. Like
Yeah.
have some, like consistency. If it was like, I really like playing only Erangel and Miramar, kind of like how PC does. But like,
They
if
do
they want
Sandhawk
us,
now too, though.
yeah, if well, not in the PGC, but if they want
they
us
aren't?
to play,
No, they
the
are
other,
PGC.
Yeah, they are.
They're doing
not
it
for the
PGC.
group stage, I guess, because they're only even doing.
No, I believe they
Miramar
did
and
it.
Erangel.
They
It's
did for
3
group
right now.
stage.
Today and yesterday was 3 Erangel and 3 Miramar, and I assume it's the same for tomorrow because
I could have sworn I
it's still the
saw.
group stage. No, they haven't played any Sandhawk in PGC yet, but if they want us to do like Sandhawk and Vikendi, also like I would love if it was 3 Erangel, then 3 Miramar, then 3 Sandhawk, then 3 Vikendi, something like that. But like we're playing first game
It's not good
Sandhawk,
for
next one's
spectators,
Miramar,
though.
then it's Erangel,
Yeah,
then
exactly.
Yeah, it's not good for
That
the
would be boring to
spectators.
watch.
yeah, I guess that. But like it's constantly switching up, so like you're changing your play style every game. You're playing completely different, and like
I think you'll get used to it at some point.
I mean I'm very used to it, but like.
Yeah.
I honestly, to me, it's really not a big deal, but I think it does.
Affect some people.
Yeah, for
I think
sure.
it's difficult to have to readapt every game. It's like
Okay.
so, like if you land and you fight somebody at your drop spot on Sandhawk, then you have to wait until the entire next day to fight them again. And by that time they've forgotten that they've even fought somebody in that drop spot, and they're coming back unknowing that there's even going to be anyone there. They're
I'm
like,
totally down for our scrims to start just being the same map for 3-4 games in a row. I think we did that like once. Like
it's
about a
hard.
week
It's hard
ago.
to establish a
That would be
pattern
really good.
when you're not playing the maps back to back to back. Like patterns don't really arise. You don't see
Yeah,
teams
that would be
tendencies.
really good. I think that's a good one to end it on.
Yeah.
Kind of take something away for scrims.
All right, guys. Good luck in Malaysia.
Same to you,
Yeah,
boys.
thanks for
Yeah.
hosting, and thanks for you guys making time out of your busy schedules as professional gamers to be on the show. It was good. We covered a lot of topics over the best part of 3 hours,
Dang.
so it was good. And
Yeah, this is a long talk.
Was a lot of talking, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like 3 hours with that.
yeah,
Yeah, it felt more like
I could talk all day.
1.5.
Okay, apparently
thanks for inviting.
there's Sandhawk. I didn't know. I don't know how I haven't seen a Sandhawk game yet, but I haven't.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I could have sworn I saw Sandhawk.
I've watched both days and missed the Sandhawk game then, so whatever.
very unlucky, or lucky, depending on if you like Sandhawk or not.
Never lucky. I don't really care.
All right, man. Everyone, take care. Oh, you will be in Malaysia, right, Smash? Or
Oh,
no?
not sure. They're
Not
doing
sure?
talent announcements after South Asia, so I don't know.
Okay.
So does that mean nobody knows, or
Nobody knows.
that's
Nobody's been confirmed yet.
yikes?
So it's
Yikes.
just wait. Just wait.
Imagine not knowing if you have a job in
It's-
3 weeks.
Welcome to my life. It's fantastic.
I know. I've always thought that. It's like
Yeah.
the talent really does switch all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fingers
Hopefully-
No
crossed.
offense.
Yeah,
I
fingers
would like
crossed
to see
Max
more
will
like
make it.
community casters get
Yeah,
some of these
it's-
opportunities, but
It's good.
I don't think you guys do such a better job though. I love having the professional casters at the same time though.
Alright,
We'll see.
see ya.
All
Bye,
right.
boys.
Thanks to you guys. Yep.
See ya. Thanks for having
hosting
me.
Mhm.
This was
Thanks for
fun.
having me as well. Cheers.
All right. That concludes the podcast. Yeah. Oh, Degon's in the chat. Me, Degon. Hi. What's up, Degon? Degon, the man with the nice shoes. Okay, I'll answer a few questions in the chat, and then I'm gonna take a break before I viewer party the finals for South Asia in like 3 hours or 2 hours or so. So yeah, I'll take some questions real quick. World Pro League has twice prize pool than spring and fall split. What do you think? Does it? Does World League have twice the prize pool? That sounds amazing. More money. Will Sakurai be a father? A father? Oh my god, I can't read. What? No, I'm doing a viewer party in like 2 hours for South Asia for the finals. Like, it's today determines everything for South Asia. The scores are so close right now. So South Asia top 5 make it to the finals. 3rd, 4th, and 5th go to the prelims for Malaysia. 1st and 2nd go to the finals for Malaysia. And right now, 5th place is at 125 points. And then you have all these teams like right near 5th place. Everybody's fighting for the 4th and 5th place spot, pretty much. 4th and 5th is literally neck and neck. ZooTay, do you think you'll finish top 3 in prelims, and what are the chances of NA finishing top 3? NA finishing top 3 for finals is going to be very difficult. It would be difficult for like almost any team to be saying we'll be top 3, besides maybe China. China's probably shooting for top 3, right? NA's shooting for top 5. And do I think my team will make top 3 in prelims? We're gonna have to see which teams do make it to prelims, so we can start strategizing. What are the requirements to be signed by an org? Do you need residency? I I think for big orgs, like big professional orgs, like say C9, TSM, and orgs like that, they do everything by the rule book. So you need more like requirements. So you probably need residency to get signed by them. But as far as Omen goes, when I signed up with Omen, I don't think I didn't send any proof of residency. NA teams should set up boot camps in Asia to practice. What do you think, ZooTay? If the scene is big enough for NA, like if the money is there, right? If it makes sense to fly a North American team out to China to play with Chinese teams, then yeah, sure. But the scene is not big enough. And by big enough, I mean if there's more money. Everything runs on money, pretty much. C9 being overconfident, what you want to say about them? I don't think C9's being overconfident. I've been on a team with Bayo. Bayo is very realistic. What makes Tensa and HH great gunners? Just natural skill and understanding of the game. Tensa also practices a lot though. Tensa has a very good practice routine and mindset. I don't know HH as well because I've never really talked to HH one-on-one. I've talked to Tensa one-on-one before, and I could tell Tensa's a very smart person, and he knows how to improve. He's very clear on how he needs to improve and what he needs to do to improve. Similar to me. Like, I'm very smart. I don't have natural talents, so to say, but I could recognize what my biggest mistakes are more easily than, you know, other people, and I could devise a way of practicing or remembering things to try and improve myself faster. What's the ballpark monthly salary for a pro player? So for North America, PUBG Mobile, currently, it's around like $300 to $1,000 a month. It's in that area.
I heard some at 150.
Some are 150.
Some are free.
Yeah. It's in that range currently. As the scene grows, like for World Leagues 2020, that amount will increase. Like for PC PUBG, it's around 2,000 to 4,000. So hopefully, you know, PUBG Mobile, as PUBG Mobile grows bigger, more money is put in, thus including the player salary. Did you two get an X3? No, I didn't order an X3. If I order one now, it's gonna arrive by the time I have to leave. So, yeah. How's your practice going for preliminary round? Well, currently our practice for Omen is going very bad. Like, I think right now we need to take a break from a game. I feel like our team needs to take a break from the game. We played really well in PMCO, and then we played very well in ESL, and then in these scrims and smaller tournaments where there's not as much on the line, I feel like we're just so burned out from the game. Like, when we need to do well, like ESL or PMCO, we all have very high energy levels. Our mind is completely focused. We're going like 100 miles per hour, right? Like, my callouts are way faster. I tell my team where to set up, how to set up way quicker. I'm more like on top of everything. But right now with our scrims, and smaller tournament games, we're playing really bad. And I think it's just because we're like, we're a little, we need like a little vacation almost, you know, after PMCO and ESL and everything. So currently, I told the team that we should take a couple days off, like 2 to 3 days, and just chill a little bit, reset ourselves. I want to see Omen in Global Final. We are definitely going to try and go to Global Finals. Are you thinking about changes for the roster of the team? Not at all. I mean, I'll consider changes and stuff after PMCO, right? Because PMCO is going to affect a lot. Good talk. Thanks for having me, Zoo. Yeah, sure thing, Advo. Thanks for coming on. And thanks for like being one of the more, you know, pioneering coaches in PUBG Mobile. Prelims in 15 days, are you gonna take a rest? Doesn't sound great. What also doesn't sound great is us constantly grinding and just grinding to a point where we're like beating ourselves up over and over. Imagine like you have a big fight coming up, right? You want to be mentally prepared and obviously physically prepared. So I think for us right now, with the way things are going, is we take a couple days to reset. Because it's not like we can't play well. Because we played very well for ESL. We played well for PMCO. So we could play well. But we're playing so much worse. Like, it's so much worse. So, no Omen tomorrow for GPL. I'm heavily considering not playing GPL tomorrow. Or maybe we do play GPL tomorrow and then we take a break Monday and Tuesday. I think that sounds more likely because GPL is a league system. What, babe?
I wanted you to help me move the bed tomorrow.
I'll have to check in with the team to see what they want to do. I'll probably send out a message tonight to see what they think. But I think we as a team right now, we kind of need a break. Yo, Zen Lee with the raid. Thank you, Zen. I missed some notifications earlier too. Zen Lee with the raid. Dwighty with the tier 1 sub. Thank you. And then, have I really been streaming for like 3 hours? Jesus. Sass with 300 biddies. Lexi with a raid. And Shasta McNasty with a tier 1 sub for 3 months also. Thank you guys. I'll probably send them a message just in case they're not on the stream anymore. Hope you have a great time in Malaysia. Thank you, Zenly. Do you think people are targeting 0 degree? I think every team right now, since there's 6 more games left, everyone's going to just play their own game and try and do their best. But if they see an opportunity to take out like a 5th place team, 4th place team, they definitely will. First team in South Asia is getting 60,000, whereas NA teams are getting lower compared to them. Why? Because there's just more interest in South Asia. There's more people watching South Asia. There's more money in South Asia. Hey ZooTay, you got any tips on how to survive and conquer a city on any map? For example, how do you survive your drop location? You just have to have repetition. Learn where you drop, like all the different angles, and then have your teammates hold specific spots or buildings, and you play from there. Alright, guys. I think I'm going to end the stream. Get some rest before my viewer party for South Asia. Let's see who's streaming. Gonna go ahead and raid someone. Oh, Boo is streaming. She raided me last time. So is Lexi though. I don't think I've raided Lexi in a while. I'm gonna go ahead and raid Lexi. I'll see you guys like in 2 hours for South Asia viewer party if you guys want to watch. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you guys for being here. Stay lit. Live, inspire, transcend. I'll see you guys in 2 hours.